Barry Bonds is on a home run pace to shatter Mark McGwire's 70 back in '98. And Big Mac last night, number 561, he continues his climb of the all-time home run leaderboard. Finds himself only 2 away from Mr. October, Reggie Jackson. Tonight, it's Bombs Away at Busch Stadium next on WB11.
Forget about it.
Beautiful night for baseball downtown, and the home run bat of Barry Bonds has come to St. Louis. Darryl Kyle, the Cardinal assignment to stop Mr. Bonds and the Giants tonight. But San Francisco's shown they've got some other guys in this lineup who can hit as well. 10-5 last night. Game 2 of the weekend series tonight here at Busch Stadium, with a night game coming up tomorrow. Bob Carpenter, Al Roboski, Rich Gould is with us. And let's talk about some home runs, Al. He is now the most prolific left-handed hitting home run hitter in National League history.
That's right. He finds himself in 11th place. He moved past Willie McCovey, a very prominent person in his life. McCovey and his godfather, Willie Mays, while playing with his father. But there you see 38 home runs in 67 games, on a pace for 84 home runs this season, and that's the most home runs, 38 home runs before the All-Star break ever.
And they have had some wild times out in McCovey Cove because of Barry Bonds. His home run chase continues. That's Jimmy Fox, the great Boston Red Sox slugger, and Barry Bonds is only 2 behind him. And when he hits 3 more, Barry will suddenly be in the top 10. You know, and our focus has been so much on Mark, Al, the last couple of years. It's not like Barry came out of nowhere, but that is a very impressive home run total.
Well, it really is, but you're talking about someone that's never hit 50 home runs in a season. Last year, he just fell short with 49. Now, he's a great player, and he's going to go down in history as one of the absolute best players of all time, but it's a long way to 70.
I know another guy who never hit 50, Hank Aaron, and his record speaks for itself. Mark McGwire goes deep here last night. His home run bat has been quite loud now for about the last week and a half.
Well, he's starting to get his timing down, and he's starting to launch the ball again. And we need not only Big Mac to get going, but we need a lot of guys to get going. We need to start playing better baseball, catch the ball, pitch better, and get some timely hitting.
And, of course, when Reggie Jackson hit his 563, we didn't know if any lefty would come close to that. Someday, Barry Bonds will be the left-hander that eclipses that. But in his days with Oakland and the Yankees, Mr. October, one of the great sluggers ever, and it's the Cardinals and the Giants. Let's not forget about the ball game. This is a very important game now that the Cards have lost 3 in a row on this homestand.
And it really is, and it really not a particularly good pitching matchup for the Cardinals. Even though Darryl Kyle is going, this is the team. The Giants, he has his worst record against in any team in baseball. And then Kurt Reeder on the other side, he's just a Cardinal killer.
5-0 is Kirk Reeder with a great ERA here at Busch Stadium. Leave it to a guy from Illinois to do that. Bonds, Kyle, Rich Gould, and Dave Duncan talk pitching when we return to Busch.
Glad you're with us. Perfect night for baseball. Giants and Cardinals. This game has been, is, and always will be about pitching. Isn't that right, Dave?
Well, pitching is the key to winning. You have to pitch good over the course of the season if you expect to win a championship.
And I thought in his last outing, Darryl Kyle epitomized what a stopper, a #1 pitcher should be.
Well, Darryl's throwing the ball good right now. He went through a little rough spell. I think he had some stiffness in his back, and for a few games there he wasn't himself, but he's back throwing the ball the way that we know he can throw it.
As a scholar of pitching, can you give us a scouting report on Kurt Reeder?
Well, Reeder's been tough on us. We don't have a lot of guys that have had a lot of success against him. He's a nice controlled pitcher, uses both sides of the plate with his fastball, has a nice little breaking ball, and mixes in a changeup. So he's a complete pitcher with good control.
Appreciate it, Dave. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Bonds, McGwire, all the Cardinals, all the Giants will be swinging, but it's all about pitching tonight. Cardinals and Giants starting lineup coming up.
On WB11 is brought to you by Budweiser. With the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you. By AutoZone, the right part, the right price, and good advice. By your local St. Louis Chrysler Jeep dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Cardinals on WB11. By Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers for tires and complete auto service. All you need is Dobbs. And by Southwest Airlines, celebrating 30 years of freedom. 30 years, one mission, low fares. Magnificent night downtown, absolutely perfect. Dusty Baker's Giants come to town, 7 games over the 500 mark, but they are 5 back of the Diamondbacks. His Southwest Airlines starting lineup features Barry Bonds in the number 3 hole behind Calvin Murray, who has 13 hits over those 7 games. And then Ramon Martinez, Bonds, Kenton, Armando Rios, who had the grand slam, Santiago, JT Snow, Pedro Feliz, and Kirk Reeder. Darryl Kyle, 8-6 for the Cardinals. Half of our Chrysler Jeep pitching matchup. And Darryl's record right now, Al, should be better. Cardinals have not scored runs for him hardly at all lately.
Well, they've scored only 8 runs in his 6 losses and been shut out twice in games that he started this year. He is only 5-14 with an ERA over 7 versus the Giants.
First pitch right on time at 7:10. A big curveball that misses. 82 wonderful degrees downtown. Very comfortable at the park. Could be a lot cooler by the end of the night. And that ball hits Calvin Murray on the helmet. He was sort of ducking away from a breaking ball, and it just plunked him right on top of the old coconut.
It's the 9th batter that Darryl has hit, and as you mentioned, it was a breaking ball, and he just recognized it, kind of ducks, and yet it hits him right above the ear flap. So not a good way to get started, but it appears that he's okay.
Leadoff man aboard. Ramon Martinez next. Craig Paquette on the Cardinal defense, brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. He's in left. Pujols over to right as Placido Polanco plays. Ray Langford, of course, not starting tonight against a left-hander, and a fastball is right down the middle. Cards got some help today from Jamie Wright. Or Jared Wright, excuse me, and the Milwaukee Brewers. They shut out the Cubs 4-0 at Wrigley today. So right now, Cards are 5.5 back. Could be 5 at the end of the night. Blown away, gets away from Matheny. A backhand play, and Mike got a glove on it. And that could be a rare pass ball on the Cardinal Gold Glove catcher.
Thing's a little bit out of sync right here. Tries to backhand it and just gets underneath the glove. They scored a wild pitch. You know, Darryl, I asked a few of the Giants, including Dusty Baker, why has Darryl Kyle struggled against the Giants? They cannot come up with a neat reason. Said when he was in Colorado, his breaking ball didn't work. Said when he was in Houston, they get a lot of base hits that just found holes in the infield.
And a little tapper. Matheny on to McGuire. Ramon Martinez gets his job done, pushing Calvin Murray over. Third base, 1 out. To a few scattered boos, Barry Bonds steps in. Barry Bonds batting .322, first with 38 homers, fifth with 68 RBIs. Tony La Russa last Saturday, speaking about this Cardinal series with the Giants, said nobody in 1998 walked Mark McGwire more than Dusty Baker. He said we are not going to let Barry Bonds beat us next weekend. There's a pitch off the plate, 2-0.
And you find where his rankings are in the National League. First in home runs, first in walks. That will go up. Fifth in RBIs, total extra bases, second. Right on down the line, he's having a terrific season.
Barry only managed 2 official ABs last night with a couple of walks.
And it seemed like Dusty Baker and also Jack McKeon were not going to let McGuire do it, so they'll return the favor. And you know what? They were just managing. They were trying to win ball games.
2 balls and a strike. Breaking ball low and in. And Matheny keeps it close enough. No advancement by Calvin Murray. Poster night here at the ballpark. Big crowd on hand. A lot of the kids got Cardinal team posters when they came in tonight.
It's that big breaking ball, and there's that excellent technique of Matheny to keep the ball in the vicinity. Now, Kyle has struggled against Bonds. 357 average, 15 hits and 42 at bats, including 2 bombs.
3-1 pitch. Long drive, right field. Cardinals pitch to him, and Barry Bonds makes him pay. A home run number 39. RBI total up to 70. 2-0 San Francisco.
Now, you can say you're not going to pitch to him, but then all of a sudden you get your competitive juices going. There are a lot of people standing applauding Barry Bonds for his accomplishment. 39 home runs, 70 RBIs now. 1 away from Jimmy Fox. Right down the middle half in. 15th home run allowed by Kyle. All behind the count, and look at there. Instead of being inside, it's middle half down right in the wheelhouse.
Pujols, a great effort. That ball about 6 feet over the yellow line up against the pillar. And a called strike on a breaking ball to Jeff Kent. You can talk about Barry Bonds, but if you don't have somebody behind you in the lineup to help you out and protect you at times, you're not going to hit that great number of home runs, and Jeff Kent does that for Dusty Baker and Mr. Bonds in that cleanup spot.
Remember, Darrell's now facing the man behind Bonds is the reigning MVP of the National League, Jeff Kent.
Yep. This guy over 800 RBIs now in his career. Little comebacker, and Kyle throws on to McGuire for the second out. Armando Rios, who killed the Cardinals last night, will be next. In fact, when Barry Bonds had a day off on Thursday, Armando Rios replaced him and hit a ball out of the ballpark.
Go back to a mistake. If you're not going to allow him to beat you, first inning, you got base open, you fall behind the count. Well, that's not pitching around the guy.
If you walk Bonds, you set up a double play with 1 out, runners at first and third. Instead, he hits a 2-run homer. Barry Bonds, 533. He's only 28 home runs behind Mark McGuire now. And Armando Rios. Tell you, this Giants club goes up pumping. He fouls 1 out. And this little guy's hit 10 home runs this year, including a grand slam here last evening.
Well, he's a long way from the plateau of 500 where McGuire and Bonds have reached. And it's been quite a while since we've had 2 players at the 500 club play against each other. Back in 73, right?
76. We're going to show you folks some pictures of those guys. It's been a while since 2 500 home run guys were in the baseball at the same time, and even longer since in the same game. More on that in a little bit. And Fernando Vina makes the catch on the weak little pop-up. Top of the first. 2 runs on 1 hit. Number 39 for Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds goes deep again. And the Giants put 2 on the board. Cardinals coming up. Cardinals are 3rd in the league at 268, 6th in runs, 4th in homers. Their next one will be number 100. Who's going to hit it in tonight's Southwest Airlines starting lineup? It may not be Placido, who's not a home run hitter, but he is 15 for his last 32. Vina, Kim, and Edmonds, McGuire, Pujols, and Craig Paquette, Renteria, Matheny, and Darryl Kyle against a guy who's been a Cardinal nemesis, especially in this ballpark, from Hoyleton, Illinois, Kurt Reeder, the other half of our Chrysler Jeep pitching matchup tonight.
I see his numbers, what he's done this year. But here's the story, what you're talking about. Here at Busch Stadium in 8 starts, Kurt Reeder, 5-0, 2.16 ERA. He's from Hoyleton, Illinois.
and a former Expo, is Kirk Reeder. This is the Giants defense behind him. They haven't been that good defensively this year, even though J.T. Snow's a perennial Gold Glover at first. They're young in the infield with Pedro Feliz and Ramon Martinez on the left side. Calvin Murray, a speedster in center, Armando Rios in right, and the veteran Benito Santiago behind Pena right here. First pitch, and Fernando takes it high. Pedro Feliz well in on the grass at third. Pena's on base average 358 to go with a batting mark of just under 300. Outside from Kirk Reeder, who is a fastball, curveball, changeup pitcher.
A 4-game winning streak going for him.
And he will not dazzle you, but he'll put a comfortable low for 4 collar on you if you don't figure him out. He gets a strike on that one to Pena. 2 balls and a strike. Kirk Reeder, 6'2", 212. He's 30 years of age. And a lot of times when the Giants are in town, he'll have some of the boys over to Hoyleton for a barbecue. 2-1 pitch. Pena slaps it out to short. Tricky little hop for Ramon Martinez. 1 out. Infield still wet after the grounds crew hosed it down pretty well a little while ago. And that ball took a funny little hop on Ramon.
Rich Aurelia, who's leading the National League in batting, has just got the day off today.
They gave Bonds a day off Thursday. Yeah, Rich Aurelia leading the league at 354. Here's Polanco. And his 330 has him just out of the top 10. Mark Grace is the 10th hitter in the league at 332. So Placido's right there with the big boys. And a fastball for a strike.
Polanco leads the National League with a 394 batting average versus left-handed pitching.
8-game hitting streak. Hits it well, maybe too well, and Barry Bonds is right there. Hey, how about our buddy Dave McKay today, inducted into the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame. Mark DeJohn is coaching first base tonight, and Dave McKay, the only Canadian on the field way back when,
77,
when the Blue Jays played their first game ever in Canada. Got a couple of hits that day, and Dave will be with the Cardinals tomorrow. Congratulations to Dave McKay. Al Raboski, of course, the first member of the Hungarian Baseball Hall of Fame.
In the Hall of Shame. Try to remember.
Hey, if you're in the hall, you're in the hall. Here's Jimmy Edmonds. Couple of bombs last night, 12 on the year now.
Must be on the way to the principal's office. It's the only hall pass I got.
Love to see Edmonds on here for McGuire. Jim takes one low, maybe a little away. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Then he's starting to heat things up. He's had 3 home runs during the current homestand and is batting .368 with 6 RBIs. So that's more of good things to come.
And Jimmy has shown a lot of resolve and some guts by being in the lineup on a regular basis. There have been times, probably most notable Wednesday night, when that shoulder is just killing him. And he's handled left-handed pitching very well this year. 300 is getting it done. 2-2. That was a quick swing. Shoulder must be feeling pretty good tonight.
Well, he's also liked facing Reeder. .417 average. 5 for 12 with a homer. And the Cardinals really wanted Bobby Bonilla to be in this lineup tonight. Bobby's had the best success. .583. 7 for 12 with 4 home runs. But his knee just wouldn't allow him to be in that lineup. They were hoping right up to game time that he could play left.
Yeah, Cardinals very late in getting their final lineup upstairs. That was a tough 2-2 pitch to have to get the bat on.
He seems stride out here a little bit, but then he reaches for it just to spoil the good pitch. Good hitters can do that, just to give themselves that little more life where they'll find and catch a mistake.
2-2. And a high fly ball left field. Bonds doesn't have to move much. Now the ball slices on him a bit. And the Cardinals go 1, 2, 3. Barry Bonds catches 2 fly balls, hits a long fly, and after 2 on Bonds' 39th, 2-0 Giants. Cardinal baseball on WB11 and the Cardinal Television Network. Bob Carpenter, Al Roboski, Rich Gould. We'll hear from Rich shortly. He's going to ask Tim Hanser about all the great Cardinal care stuff going on, and maybe the barbecue that's coming up as well. Timmy's got a hand in that this year with our pinch hitters. Barbecue is a little over a month away. We'll start telling you about that. It'll be a picnic this year here at Busch Stadium. Here's Benito Santiago to lead off for the Giants at the top of the second. And ball one.
Not the job that Santiago is doing.
Benito, a 5-game hitting streak, batting .319. Bobby Estalella, one of their primary catchers, injured. Actually sent down a guy who showed a live bat at various times. Edwards Guzman, a young catcher, is the backup, but Benito's pretty much the everyday guy. Talk about some staying power, Al. This guy has had that.
Well, I talked to Dusty about it, and a few years ago he was involved in a serious accident, almost ended his career, and Dusty thinks that having baseball almost taken away from him kind of caught his attention, and he rededicated himself and become quite a player once again. Remember, he was the Rookie of the Year.
And a called strike. He is gone. And number one for Darryl Kyle. So Tim Hanser is with our buddy Rich Gould. Rich?
And Bob, let's start where you wanted us to start, which is the barbecue coming up. Tim, tell us about it.
This year we've got a real special barbecue. It's going to be here at Busch Stadium out in the outfield with picnic, and fans are really going to get a kick out of it.
During the game? No, they can't do that, can they?
Great. Edmonds, well, you know, right after the game on Sunday, July 22nd. It's really going to be something special. Now,
you mentioned Jim Edmonds, and special really coincides with Jim as far as last week went, didn't it?
Yeah, this was a pretty neat moment. We dedicated Jim Edmonds Fields, a ballpark in a neighborhood in city of St. Louis, and part of our ball field program. We refurbished this park and dedicated it for the kids of that community.
We got Willie McGee coming in town, don't we, Tim?
Yeah, Willie's going to be here on Monday for the Cardinals Care Golf Tournament to benefit RBI, the inter-city baseball leagues that we fund.
Great fun coming up, Bob and Al. Thanks, Tim.
All right, Rich, thank you. A picnic in the park on July 22nd at Busch Stadium. And guess who the honorary chairperson is this year? How about the entire Cardinal team? It'll be the 39th annual barbecue. We'll tell you shortly how you can go about getting tickets. J.T. Snow batting .198. What is going on with that?
Well, you know, he's been hurt, and then he came back and had sort of a groin injury.
And a pop-up out to center. Moving over is Jim Edmonds. He's got it for the second out. Six Flags Senior Citizens Night, Tuesday, July 17th, when the Twins are here, right after the All-Star break. First place most of the season. They're a game and a half back of Cleveland right now. Fans with a paid admission receive a free senior citizens ticket for all adults 55 and older, and a $12 off an adult general admission ticket to Six Flags. Tuesday, July 17th, Cards and the Minnesota Twins, those bad guys from '87. Pedro Feliz is the batter for the Giants, a .194 hitter in the number 8 hole. Kyle would like to get him, make Kirk Reeder lead off the third, and some high heat evens the count, 1-1. Pedro Feliz from the Dominican had an 8-game cup of coffee with the Giants last year and hit .286. A pop-up. Mike Matheny's got plenty of room, and an easy, quick second inning for Darryl Kyle. 5 in a row for the Cardinal right-hander. Big Mac is coming up, folks. Don't go anywhere. Mark McGwire next. Couple of 500 home run men in the ballpark tonight. And the last time 2 500 home run men were in baseball together. They didn't play against each other, but Reggie Jackson with the Yankees, Mike Schmidt with the Phillies. 87, a good year in these parts. And then it's been even longer than that since 2 500 home run guys appeared in the same game. We'll give you that a little bit later. They were National Leaguers, and they were great right-handed batters. Here we go, bottom of the second. McGwire, Pujols, and Paquette. Cardinals are down by 2.
Well, let's get down by 1.
Mark now has 561, 2 behind Reggie, and that's for 6th place all time. The shift is on in the infield, and Mark takes one high. And Al, you know, we get so used to this because we're around Mark all the time. But this is something we're going to be telling folks about a long time from now, that we saw Mark McGwire and Barry Bonds on the same field together. This is historical significance right here. Here's a 2-0. Look out. And he got it. That's a good pitch by Reeder. Didn't put it out over the plate. It was on the inside corner, a little tight in on Mark. 2-1 for Reeder. It's a little bit low and inside. Kirk Reeder this year has given up 14 home runs in 87 innings, 1 less than Darryl Kyle. 3-1 pitch. Will he groove one here? Looked like a little off-speed delivery. 78 miles an hour, and Mark tapped the changeup back.
And that's what Reeder is so good at, changing speeds, particularly that changeup, working both sides of the plate. That time you think he's going to go to one side, he'll throw it to the other. Time you think you're on one pitch, he'll either add or subtract.
And Mark takes one way outside. Some people boo, some people cheer. And in 1976, August 1st, Frank Robinson of Cincinnati and Hank Aaron of the Milwaukee Braves were on the field at the same time. There they are, Hammer and Hank and Frank Robinson. August 1st, 76. That was at Milwaukee. Albert Pujols taking strike 1. And a fly ball right field. It'll be easy near the track for Armando Rios. Hank Aaron, Willie Mays in the league at the same time. I'm trying to figure out if that's the last time it happened in the National League. And Hank Aaron was playing for the Milwaukee Braves.
Now what was it? No.
The game notes have Frank Robinson at that time with the Cleveland Indians. They would not have been playing each other. There goes the bat. The ball is foul. And about 80% of Craig Paquette's bat moves Pedro Feliz out of the way.
Well, first of all, Milwaukee was in the American League in '76.
So they were the Brewers then.
Okay.
So that was the American League, and then you're right, National League would have been before that.
Cleveland, Frank Robinson.
Right.
Not Cincinnati. So they were in the American League.
That footage we had was earlier in their careers when the Braves were still in Milwaukee and Frank Robinson was with Cincinnati.
Yeah.
1 ball, 1 strike to Craig Paquette. Craig 0 for his last 7, batting at .250. But the names are all right and the teams are right. We got that all straightened away now. Off-speed pitch a little bit outside. Good job by Paquette to lay off. Renteria next. Tying runs at the plate here early. Low and away.
Now, because of Bonilla being injured or not available to start this game, his .583 average and 4 home runs and 12 at-bats against Reeder gets substituted with Paquette 0 for 9.
Leonard goes and Craig pops it up. Out in right field for Armando Rios. Giants infielders are trying to make Mark McGwire think the ball was on the ground somewhere. So after a long run to second, he has to return and 2 outs now. What's on Tap brought to you by Budweiser with a crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you. Fox Sports Net Tuesday night. That's a short little 2-game series. Off day Monday. Reds are in here. Tuesday, Wednesday. Off day Thursday when the Cardinals will fly to San Francisco to face these Giants at Pac-Bell Park next weekend. Then it's on to Milwaukee and Cleveland before the All-Star break. So the longest homestand will come to an end on Wednesday. The Cards will have a formidable road trip against 3 very good ball clubs before the break. Brewers beat the Cubs 4-0 today behind Jamie Wright. Cleveland Ball Club has taken over first place in the AL Central. Minnesota beaten again today. The Twins have now lost 4 in a row, and Cleveland trails 3-1 after 1 inning at Kansas City. 1-1 pitch. Low, and everybody in the American League must be wondering, did the Minnesota Twins wake up a couple of days ago and realize who they were? They are struggling now. 2-1 to Edgar. They play behind McGuire at first. Renteria hacks one down the right field line into the corner. That is a foul ball according to Rich Rieker. Rich, the St. Louisan, umpiring at first. St. Louis and Jerry Davis behind the plate. Mark Carlson at second. Matt Hollowell at third. But it's good to see Edgar staying on the ball and trying to drive it the other way.
Yeah, I think Edgar might have, after setting a Cardinal record for home runs by a shortstop last year, may have thought he was going to get to a good start, break that record. Never been someone that really got, in good game shape in spring training and picked up some bad habits.
2-2 way inside. This will give McGuire a chance to run off first. Edgar Renteria 16 homers and 76 RBIs last year. So Mark will edge off. JT Snow playing behind him. Cardinals would love a base hit here and get this thing going. Down by 2 early. Mark runs. Ball 4, and a rather unusual and rare 2 walks in the same inning by Kirk Reeder. Sean Dunston and Eric Davis, 2 of the great guys in all of baseball. They were Cardinals last year.
2 guys that their presence on this ball club, the Giants, is very meaningful. A leadership role. Matter of fact, Sean Dunston, you're looking at Eric there, but Sean Dunston recently called a team meeting, and they went on and won 8 straight games, including one game where he hit a game-winning home run in a 1-0 victory.
The 8th Cardinal to bat is Mike Matheny. Mike 0 for his last 8 and batting .215. Big gap in left center. And he hits it in the air easily to right field, and Armando Rios will catch all 3. So McGuire leads off the inning walking. Renteria walks 2 outs later, and the Cardinals don't have a base hit yet. Mack does look good running the bases. Had to go back on that fly ball. 2-0 Giants after 2. Well, don't miss one of the best baseball movies ever. Kevin Costner, Susan Sarandon, Tim Robbins. They star in Bull Durham tomorrow at 4 on WB11. That is one of the classics. Kevin Costner is a catcher walking out and telling Nuke LaLoosh that ball went so far it should have had a flight attendant on it. Ever have a catcher tell you that?
No. I told the catchers a few things that they'd never heard before.
We're going to start the 3rd inning here, and Kirk Reeder leads off for the Cards, or rather for the Giants against the Cards. Darryl Kyle. Kirk Reeder 4 for 28 with 4 RBIs this year. He has 30 major league runs batted in.
What I loved about Bull Durham was the cast of characters, and go back to, you could relate to some of the people that you would find at minor league ball. Willie, guy that lived at the funny farm. You had Beulah, who was the female wrestler. Bradshaw.
Before female wrestling became fashionable.
Yeah, I mean, Bradshaw, who was the town drunk. I mean, he's like, and every night this menagerie of people would be at the ballpark.
And a breaking ball hit up the middle. Renteria to his left. Plant fires. Oh, got a close play. And Kurt Reeder did a pretty good job of running the bases there, too. Edgar takes a hit away from him, and that's 6 in a row for Darryl Kile.
Now, that's the type of defense we come to expect from Edgar. Goes far to his left, slides to stop his momentum, gets up, spins, throws his strong and accurate throwing arm, and you made a good point. Reeder was really digging hard, going hard down the line, and expending a lot of energy.
Top of the order now, Calvin Murray. Got a bunch of our buddies from Washington, Missouri here tonight. Al, these girls donated lots of money to Cardinals Care for the right to look at the back of your head for a couple of hours. They're celebrating Patty Wood's last day of being in her 30s. Susan Harms is here, Krista Meyer, Amy Wolfschlager, and the ultimate Cardinal day for them. All those gals made a donation to Cardinal Care at the winter warm-up to come up and join us tonight.
Yeah, we tricked them and given them some more money. So I met Amy's mother tonight.
Yeah, I thought that was her sister. 1-1 pitch, and it's fouled straight back here. And the great thing about all of this is, after the ball game, Tim Hanser is taking them all out for a very nice dinner.
Tim, you know that yet?
Yeah, I just told him.
Oh, okay.
There goes my per diem for the next road trip. And the 1-2 pitch hit out to deep short. Edgar again, but he fumbles it. And he knew he had to be a lot quicker this time with Calvin Murray running, and they're going to give Calvin a base hit.
But, you know, at the very least, he did not complicate it by rushing the throw or throwing the ball away. Would have been a sensational play. Does a nice job just to get to it, then couldn't find the handle. But there are a lot of shortstops would have picked that ball up and then fired it into the stands.
Well, we saw Ricky Gutierrez try to do a little too much the other night for the Cubs. Might have cost them a ball game. And here's Ramon Martinez, who sacrificed first time up. 1-on-1 out for the Giants, top of the third. Darryl fires one, low and away, ball 1. Ramon Martinez, good looking young player, hanging in there, handling things pretty well. He was actually born in Philadelphia, lives in Toa Alta, Puerto Rico now. And he batted .302 for the Giants in 88 ball games last year. Runner going, swinging a little chopper down to third. Pujols, or rather Polanco, playing over there tonight. And he took a quick look at second and knew he had no play whatsoever, so Placido over to first for the second out. Barry Bonds, first inning with Calvin Murray aboard and 1 out. Darryl Kile threw him a 3-1 fastball right down the middle.
He fell behind and did not want to have this location, but you can't afford to make those mistakes.
Bank of America takes us inside the numbers all year. And look at Barry. He hits almost as many straight away as he does right in terms of his base hits. So he is a left-handed pull hitter, but he, as a veteran player, is now using the entire ballpark.
I think one of the odd things is, you can see here is a guy, a power hitter, having a terrific start to the season, but he chokes up on the bat.
How can a guy have 70 hits and 39 of them are home runs? I mean, that is unbelievable. And he goes to center a lot. 70 hits, 39 home runs.
No, he's not hitting 300. Well, he is hitting 326. But I mean, he got off to a very slow start as far as non-home run hits. You know, Mark McGwire, when he would hit 70 and a couple years there in a row, he'd have more home runs than singles.
Right. Barry has more home runs than singles, doubles, and triples put together. 2 outs, runner at first. And a 1-1 from Darrell. Breaking ball hammered up the middle, but that's where the shift is. Renteria right there. Cardinals work around the base hit, and Darrell Kyle now has retired 8 of the last 9 men he has faced. Kyle will lead off. Big Mac takes care of this one. 2-0 Giants. Cardinals hosting a one-day dance clinic at the Regal Riverfront from noon till 6. That's August 15th. Children will be taught by Team Fred Bird, other dance professionals, and once the session is over, the dancers will have the chance to perform on the field prior to the Cardinal Red game. Wow. It's open to all kids, 5th through 8th grade. And for more information, call the Cardinals at 425-0688. First annual Cardinals Dance Clinic. I know some guys up in the booth who could use a little help with their rhythm.
And wait a minute now, these kids are going to be taught by Team Fred Bird and other dance professionals. The clinic is over at the Millennium Hotel, formerly the Regal Riverfront, from noon to 6, and then they come onto the field, huh?
Isn't that something?
It's great. Open to all 5th through 8th grades. And for more information, call the Cardinals at 314-425-0688. It says dance professionals. You going to be out there teaching them?
That's a Wednesday. I have a previous engagement.
Oh, we could change your. We could get you.
You get me taken off a game, couldn't
Yeah, we can get you taken off.
1 ball and 2 strikes. There are a lot of people.
What are your priorities?
There are a lot of people who could get me taken off a game. Darrell Kyle, 5 for 33 this year, and he works the count to 2-2. I'm from South St. Louis. I don't know how to dance. Kyle jacks one to left field. See you later. Pitcher goes deep. Second of his career. And Darrell Kyle slices the 2-0 deficit right in half.
Well, when he pitches, he doesn't get a lot of run support, so I guess this is your way to answer that. You know, before the game during bad braves, we went around to all the guys on the team and kind of threw a punch, you know, in their chest, and that little gesture they go and say, hey, you're going to give it all for me today, aren't you? Going to get it all for yourself and for us. And this is what he's talking about. Everybody's got to do what they can in order to help this team get out of this funk.
And I mean, that is a blast. It hit the wall on the back of the bullpen just below Homer's Landing. First Cardinal pitcher home run in more than a year after Andy took the Phillies deep last season, and it's now a 2-1 game. How about that? Remember when I said in the lineup, who's going to hit number 100?
That's it.
Never thought it would be the pitcher. Nice going, Darrell Kyle. Forget McGuire and Bonds. We should have had Kyle in our opening segment tonight. Well, Barry's done his part. And there's a foul away, and Vigna's in the hole quickly, 0-2. Isn't that something? Darrell Kyle had hit 1 home run in his big league career off Omar Oliveros of the Cardinals back in July 3rd of '93 at Houston at the Astrodome. Now Vigna flies one down the left field line, but Bonds is over near the line. One out, and Polanco. On this date in Schnupp's baseball history, Jimmy Pearsall of the White Sox hit his 100th career homer, then he ran to third base first. Oh, wait a minute. He ran around the bases correctly, first, second, and third, but he did it backpedaling is what he did. Jimmy Pearsall.
Otherwise, it wouldn't be a home run.
Yep. Jimmy Pearsall, later a White Sox broadcaster, if you can imagine that, in the booth with Harry Carey after Harry left the Cardinals before he went to the Cubs. Now, what a broadcast team that might have been.
He was very colorful.
Is that when they started the mute switch? That may be when they invented it.
Well, they had, he made some real fans. Colorful comments about wives.
Polanco with a fly ball to Rios. Cardinals are hitting a lot of lazy fly balls tonight. They have made only 1 out on the ground. The other 7 outs have been fly balls.
And you know, Kurt Reeder is second in the National League in inducing ground ball double plays. 14 of them this year. Mike Hampton only better with 16, so a little bit unusual in how they're approaching him, but with this typical efficiency.
Darryl Kyle's home run traveled 15 feet further than Barry Bonds' home run did, 395 to 380.
I got a conversation with Jimmy Persall once. You would never have understood it. And he finally...
Him or you?
Both of us.
Oh, okay.
He finally topped it off by saying, well, I've got papers that prove I'm sane.
So he was certifiably sane, huh? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, when he got released, they gave him papers saying, you don't have to come back here.
It was something else. Fear Strikes Out was the name of the movie, right? About Jimmy Persall.
Anthony Hopkins.
Did Carl Malden play his dad? I think he did.
I think you may be right.
This was long before the streets of San Francisco.
Yes.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, we're talking a lot about baseball movies. WB11 with Bull Durham tomorrow. My favorite of all time is Field of Dreams. I don't know, there's just something about that thing that gets me every time. A lot of people like The Natural. One-two pitch. Couple of multi-homer games for Jimmy after he hit 2 last night, 14 in his career, and Jeff Kent robs him. And that keeps McGuire from batting here in the 3rd. So the only Cardinal hit comes from Darryl Kyle. A 395-foot homer on a 2-2 pitch. It's a 2-1 game. This portion of Cardinal baseball on WB11 is brought to you by Steak and Shake, famous for our steak burgers, and by Hyundai dealers, where driving is believing. Test drive one at your local Hyundai dealer this weekend. Top of the 4th, 2-1 game. Rich Gould, who have you got down there?
The great tight end of the Rams, Ernie Conwell, joins us. He's got about a month off before they head to Macomb and really get with it. Is that right, Ernie?
That's true right now. You spend as much time as you can with your wife and your kids and try to get your mind right for the season.
You know, after what's going on with trades and with signings and stuff, I think the defense is faster than the offense.
That's a pretty close assumption. I think that they're flying around out there, and it's nice to see the guys. Everybody's excited, and I think we've kind of got that fire back we had the year we went and got it all.
Obviously, you're a baseball fan. Did you play when you grew up?
I did. I played as a kid growing up, and I love baseball, and it's fun. I'm out in the yard playing with my kids, and it's fun to be here. Tonight, my son threw out the first pitch, and it's just neat to come out and see these guys in live.
And finally, your knee is back to 100%, isn't it, Ernie?
It is. I can finally say that my knee feels great. I've been through every off-season workout. All the practices, haven't missed a thing, haven't had any problems, so I'm excited about this year.
Bob, Al, I don't know that anybody has come back from a knee injury like that. Ernie Conwell in the house, guys.
Great to see him back healthy, Rich. Thank you, sir. And we are excited about the Rams. That defense is going to be very much improved this year. Top of the 4th, Jeff Kent, 2 balls, 1 strike. And a fastball fouled out of play. And you're watching Cardinal baseball on KPLR TV St. Louis, WB11, the flagship station of our all over the Midwest Cardinal television network.
Ernie back at full speed, and of course when the Giants are in town, we know Jack Snow's in the house. Walked in with Jack. His son JT is the Giants' first baseman.
Two. Big hook, see ya. Jeff Kent frozen at the plate as Darryl Kyle drops the hammer on him, and that's his second K of the night. Both of them have been called.
A big curveball, and the knees buckled, and he just spun and went away. He knew he was had.
Well, he got Benito Santiago on a fastball back in the 2nd. A big off-the-table curveball there, and here's Armando Rios, who popped out the 2nd. Darryl Kyle's now retired. 9 of the last 10 Giants. Cardinals got a little help today. We'll tell you more about the National League Central standings in a moment. Those Brewers put another one on the Cubbies today, 4-0. Jamie Wright
all these people that think that just because Cardinals couldn't make any ground in the 4-game series, they split with the Cubs. Well, season doesn't end right then. You got to keep on playing, and you have to keep on winning.
And a drive to right center. Caught by Pena. It never got to right center. Fernando to his right, timing his move perfectly. Cardinals are playing some good D now behind Darryl Kyle.
You know, sometimes you'll see a ball and you think it's going to start rising and taking off, and he almost overjumped the ball. He was kind of caught right there. He knew his ball was hit hard, tried to jump up, and almost jumped too soon, and almost went above the apex of the flight of the ball.
Here's Benito Santiago. Rips one to third. Backhand, Polanco sliding, throws on target. And the Cardinals are looking like the Cardinals of old defensively right now. Good defensive plays. And for Darryl Kyle, 11 of the last 12 retired. McGuire, Pujols, and Paquette coming up. 2-1 Frisco. Cardinals coming up, bottom of the fourth, down by 1 thanks to the Darryl Kyle home run. Here's our National League Central Division standings brought to you by AutoZone. Cardinals and the Brewers are now tied. Milwaukee beat the Cubs 4-0 today. Astros are playing right now. And at home after the Reds beat them last night, they lead Cincinnati 4-1 after 3. Bonds and McGuire. Will Mark match Berry and hit one out of here? It would be a game tire. Mark walked his first time up. Infield shift is on, and Reeder throws one outside. Ball 1. There's the infield shift. The outfield deep, a little left of straightaway, and McGuire swings through that one. Mark McGuire has been walked 12 times this year now. 1-1 pitch. And he's done a good job of laying off some of those pitches down and in from Reeder. Pitchers like to keep Mark tied up inside if they can. Just have to make sure you get it far enough in there.
You know, power hitters want to get their arms extended. What separates Mark a little bit for a right-hander, he's a low ball hitter.
High drive, left field. Looking up into the twilight, Barry Bonds coming way in for the ball to make the catch. Mark 0 for 1 with a walk. Bonds 1 for 2 with a homer.
You go out there and got underneath it a little bit, so Mark shows his disappointment. Barry looking up and said, I got this one.
Only 2 ground ball outs by Kirk Reeder of the first 13. Barry Bonds is wearing the longest baseball pants I've seen since George Henrik. He needs to get some cuffs on those things. And it's 2-0 to Albert Pujols, who flied to right first time up. There's our Bommarito Automotive Group leaderboard. Multi-hit games, Albert right there. But look at Luis Gonzalez. That is ridiculous. 35 multi-hit games already. Luis Gonzalez does not even lead the league in hits. He's tied with Rich Aureli at 97. And there's Pujols with a base hit going the other way. He'll take what you give him. He won't try to pull it all the time.
But you know, there's a difference of hitting a ball on the line to the opposite field and dropping and getting underneath it. You know, and hitting that little lazy fly ball out there. The ball's up, and he stayed on top of it. Hit a line drive to right field. Rios has been pretty busy catching a lot of little harmless fly balls to right.
One on, one out, Craig Paquette. That's the first Cardinal hit by a position player tonight. Pujols 1 for 2. Came in batting .347, 5th best in the National League. outside 2-0. I'd like to wish a happy birthday to Alicia and Ariana Isom. I hope that's right. Isom, I-S-O-M, or Isom, from their dad Phil. They are both 11 years old today. It is Isom, thank you. Oh, we know Phil.
Of course we do.
2-0. Slow roller. A seeing eye hit. Pujols is going for third. Look at this guy run the bases. He's got great baseball instincts. Paquette sneaks a base hit, and Albert Pujols gets 180 feet out of it.
Well, sometimes you got to push the envelope a little bit. The play's in front of him, so it has to be instinct. Tries to reach for that outside pitch, tries to hook it. So a lot of times you're going to hit a ground ball to shortstop. The third baseman deflects it by the shortstop. So he goes kind of out there in no man's land. The second baseman has to retrieve it. He throws it back to the shortstop covering, but he sees the place right in front of him, so he decides to make the commitment to try and go to third base. So Kendall trying to send him down, and it's one of those plays where it sure looks good when you're safe, and you kind of regret it when you're trailing by a run and you get thrown out. But that's the kind of mistakes that he's going to make. They're going to be aggressive mistakes, and in this case, he got away with it, and it wasn't a mistake.
Here's Renteria, tying run at third. Edgar takes one outside, and here's where he can stay within himself and not to get too overeager. Edgar coaxed a walk first time after hitting the ball the other way a couple of times.
And sometimes a guy will be there 2-0, and you see Santiago come out and talk to Reeder, but a hitter says, okay, I'm going to look for something out over the plate, and you can throw a mediocre pitch up and in, and they jam themselves. This is also where Reeder is very good at inducing double play ground balls.
2-0. Right in there. Ramon Martinez, Jeff Kent. Hey, there's our buddy Phil. Way to go, Phil. Alicia and Ariana, 11 years old today. He looks very intelligent with those glasses on. Don't normally see Phil with those. 2-1 pitch. Way inside, ball 3. Mike Matheny on deck, and the Cardinals have a chance to make some noise and some damage happen here in the bottom of the fourth, trailing 2-1.
I remember when Santiago was younger, a great throwing arm, the catcher. A lot of double plays for Reeder.
Runner goes off first. Perfect! RBI hit. Over to third, Paquette. Edgar Renteria tying the game at 2. Perfect execution by the Cardinals.
Well, you get a guy that gets a lot of ground ball double plays, so they start the runner and it pays off. Also paid off with Pujols getting that extra base and tying the game. He doesn't take that extra base. We have the bases loaded and 1 out. Down and away. Good piece of hitting. Just go down there and get it. Stroke it to that opposite side. With the runner going, the second baseman vacates the area. He goes to cover second base. Ball behind it. A quick look by Paquette. Then he knows he can come over to third base. And now runners at the corners from Matheny and only 1 out.
Cardinals with a chance to take the lead. Low to Mike, who flied out to right first time up, trying to bust an 0 for 9 here. This would be a great time for his 16th RBI of the year. Darryl Kyle on deck. And the Cards a chance to put a crooked number on the board here in the fourth. Reeder good at holding runners. Tomorrow night at the ballpark is Mike Matheny bobblehead doll night, brought to you by Coca-Cola and Target. First 30,000 fans, whatever age, with a paid admission, receive the bobblehead doll of Mike Matheny. That's a double play ball. Kent, Martinez, and the Cardinals fail to take the lead. 4-6-3. Kirk Reeder gets a ground ball when he needs it most, and the Cardinals have tied it though 2-2 after 4. Edgar Renteria gets a big base hit, gets the Cardinals back even. So it's 2-2 after 4 here at Busch Stadium. And the Suntrup Automotive family has some trivia for us tonight. How many homers did that line drive speed Cardinal team hit in 1982. 100 so far this year. Look at that. 67 home runs and a World Series title.
Don't you remember they used to spend several years of that decade in the 80s there where Whitey Herzog's joke would be, I wonder if my team's going to break Roger Maris's record. That was previous to, you know, Mr. McGuire breaking it, shattering it with 7.
Cardinals hit 235 home runs last year, 50 in April. Here's J.T. Snow, who leads off the 5th. There's a great changeup by Darryl Kyle. 82 miles an hour, faded that ball down and away from the lefty. J.T. flied to center first time.
Pitch that Darryl is trying to incorporate a little more often.
And he can change speeds with his big hook if he has to. There's a big hook, and it just missed. Looked like Jerry Davis thought about it for a moment.
Thought about it. Thought it went around the plate.
Maybe Darryl throws one of the few curveballs that can actually do that. Challenges in with a fastball. Little bloop, and it's trouble. On a 1-2 pitch, Paquette can't get there, and the Giants have their first leadoff hit of the night. Second time they've had their leadoff man aboard.
JT right now will take anything that he can put him on base. Perennial Gold Glove in the field, but he's a much better hitter than what he's demonstrated this year in an injury-plagued season. Playing around a little bit, left-handed power, and playing him around a little bit to left center, and just couldn't get in quick enough to make that play.
Here's Pedro Feliz, the number 8 batter. Rifles one out of play. Hey, our buddy Dan Farrell from the Cardinal marketing department is out at St. John's Hospital with his lovely wife Monica tonight. Monica not feeling well. We want to send Monica and Dan our very best, and Mom needs to get home. Dad's not doing the job babysitting.
Hey. She is so smart and everything like that. It's her birthday tomorrow. She's resting up so she can really party.
What's in that IV, Monica? There's a swing and a miss on a pitch up, and it's 0-2. Monica used to work for the Cardinals and a sweet lady. I'd like to wish her and Dan Farrell very much our best tonight.
And hopefully this victory will help her get a little quicker, and then we can celebrate her birthday tomorrow night with another Cardinal win.
June 24th tomorrow. 0-2 to Pedro Feliz. And a big curveball outside. Bob and Aggie Siriati are celebrating their 45th anniversary today. Aggie is one of our wonderful Cardinal ladies in the office downtown.
Sure.
Downstairs.
Speaking of that, the Cardinals want to congratulate Mark Miller and Donna Kuhlman on their engagement tonight.
I'll second that. And a 1-2. See ya. Pedro Feliz frozen. And of Darryl Kyle's 3 strikeouts, all of them on called third strikes, 2 of them on big curveballs.
Big curveball, you just don't expect it. You give up on it, and then the bottom drops out. You know it, but you just can't pull the trigger. And of course, Thane and Jenny Van Boosigen, they celebrated their 10th wedding anniversary last night.
Thane is one of our outstanding Cardinal marketing guys. And here's Kirk Reeder, 1 on 1 out. Swinging away. McGuire and Polanco were charging, and all of a sudden Kirk Reeder took a big swing and fouled one out of play to the left.
We mentioned Woody. Bring some of the guys over to his house for a barbecue. They want to check on what's the latest in the workshop.
That's why they call him Woody, huh?
Yep.
Is he a member of the Carpenters Union?
Probably not.
You have to go check him out. Fastball. And that almost sawed him off. And Kirk Reeder had to get back out of the way of that one. 1-1. Darryl Kyle saying, okay, you want to lean out over the plate and swing away when my infielders are charging. Here's an inside fastball to work with. Cardinals would love a double play ball right here. Reeder almost had a hit first time. Renteria robbed him up the middle. He shows bunt. Darrell steps off. Reds just picked up a run, top of the fourth, trailing 4-2 at Houston. They beat the Astros in extra innings last night. Pirates are winning at home 6-4 over Montreal. Milwaukee beat the Cubs at Wrigley 4-0, so that's the Central for you. There's a bunt. It deadens perfectly in front of Kyle, and Darrell throws to Vigna for the out. And with 2 outs, Kirk Reeder gets the runner. J.T. Snow down to second base for Calvin Murray.
Look at how he's got the knees bent, the barrel higher, goes down with it. That was not an easy pitch to get down, but does his job and puts Snow into scoring position for the leadoff man. He only has 9 RBIs to go with his 3 home runs. Calvin Murray's kind of solidified the center field position in outfield play.
Yeah, Marvin Bernard's been their guy for a while, but Calvin Murray has played himself into a good spot. He's a Dallas, Texas guy, still lives down in the Lone Star State in Houston. 5'11", 190. Calvin Murray will be 30 years of age at the end of July. J.T. Snow, not a blazing base runner at second base. And a big curveball by Kyle evens the count, 1-1. We're in the top of the 5th, 2-2 game. Giants beat the Cardinals 5 out of 9 last year. The team split the 6 they played here. Al got a nice note from the 4th reunion of the Hard Rock Sports Cardinal Forum fanatics. They get together online and chat about the Cardinals 365 days a year. They've been around for about 5 years. And they help with charity donations. They help out members who are ill. Pretty cool group. Marilyn Bjork Milbury, the Empress.
The Empress sent that to me.
Wrote us that nice note. Thank you, Marilyn. You can always go to the Cardinal website on www.stlcardinals.com.
The ball just running in on the right-handed batter, couldn't pull the trigger. Got to do that so you can, throw that breaking ball that freezes him, and we may see the first time he'll drop down sidearm and throw a breaking ball.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Darrell liked to keep this game tied so he can give the Cardinals the lead in the bottom of this inning. He goes sidearm and keeps it upstairs, 2-2. Runner at second, 2 outs. Darrell's ready. Matheny slides outside. Curveball. That thing was hanging up and in, and luckily for the Cardinals, just foul. If you see where Matheny was set up and where that pitch was, well, Darrell totally missed his spot, and the Cardinals are lucky not to be behind.
Well, absolutely. They throw a lot of breaking balls. It's a pitch that you have a good chance of hanging, and that was a hanging breaking ball. What helped and why he got away with it, it was just bad enough that it stayed high enough.
And fouled by inches. Matt Hollowell, rookie umpire on this crew, had a good look at it down that third baseline. So the count still 2-2. Calvin Murray hit by a pitch, a run, and a base hit tonight. Another breaking ball, line to right center. That is down, and so are the Cardinals unless Pujols throws out the runner. It's offline, 3-2 Giants. Darrell Kyle staying with that breaking ball, and Calvin Murray shot it out into right center. He's had a perfect night.
Well, let's see if it's not one of those real good ones. See if it's another one that kind of stays up there a little bit. It was a better one, but it was in the middle of the plate, and after seeing so many, he just pretty much was guessing breaking ball. He got the pitch, didn't try to do too much with it. And you go back to the sacrifice bunt. If you can do these little things, you can keep yourself in games, and if you do that, you'll pick up some victories.
And remember, J.T. Snow led off the inning on a 1-2 pitch, blooping a base hit to left field. So the Giants have played some small ball here in the 5th to take the lead back. And here's Ramon Martinez. Barry Bonds on deck. Runner at first started stopped, and another curveball for a strike. That was an off-speed one, 73 miles an hour. Mr. Bonds 1 for 2 with his 39th homer of the year tonight. A 2-run shot back in the first, straightaway right field. Look out. Fastball high and tight. Throwing a lot of curveballs. They've been out over the plate, these guys, looking for it, and this one, yikes.
So you've got to pitch inside to keep them honest from not diving across the plate. You throw so many curveballs, it does affect your velocity on the fastball. And obviously, you don't have the same release point because you're just not, throwing it consistently enough to keep it.
And of course, Darryl Kyle, he brushed back Kirk Reeder on a pitch recently. That's the thing about the National League. You've got to put a bat in your hands and go up there and face the other guy too. 1 ball, 1 strike, and it's outside.
That was one of the things that I really resented when I went to the American League, is where they said, oh, you do these things because you don't have to bat. I batted in the National League.
Right.
I was hit.
Yeah, you had credibility in that area.
I was hit a few times, and you go to first base.
2 balls, 1 strike, and a quick move back easily is Murray. Calvin 3 steals in 6 attempts this year. Perfect night for baseball in St. Louis. 82 degrees at game time. Little breeze blowing from left to right. And the Giants lead the Cardinals 3-2. Long look by Kyle. Runner goes. Good jump. Base hit up the middle. Over to third. Calvin Murray. Edmonds fires it. He is out. Not really close. Edmonds with a bullet over to third base. And Calvin Murray, who runs very well. And really, it wasn't that close. Look at this throw. And it's 3-2 Giants. Middle of the 5th. Bonds still on deck. This portion of Cardinal Baseball on WB11 is brought to you by CarX Auto Service. More than you thought for less than you think. 18 neighborhood locations. And by Jack in the Box, where we don't make it till you order it. How about that view? The gateway to the west, sun setting over St. Louis tonight.
What's it going to look like with a new Cardinal Village to go along with a new ballpark?
Yeah, the ballpark village. I've heard there are all kinds of folks excited about that downtown. Some of the business people thinking about building in that area. There'd be a lot of things going on down here over the next 5 years. And of course, Al, and you're going to go through this. We're finding out already who our friends are. Somebody already brought up All-Star tickets to me the other day.
Oh, good. For this year?
No, 2006. Here's Darryl Kyle, and he goes up pumping. He homered last time up to get the Cardinals back to 2-1. 395 feet. And it hit the back wall of the visitors' bullpen. That is some blast.
Always a thrill to contribute in a game you're pitching.
Did you ever hit a major league home run?
Not a major league home run. Smokey Joe Cunningham used me as a pinch hitter a couple times in the minor leagues.
Did you go deep in the minor leagues?
Yes.
Do you remember it? Or them?
Them. A couple times.
Little tapper out in front of the plate. Reeder bare hands. That's the right way to do it. And Darryl gone to start the bottom of the 5th.
Outslugged George Foster one time. He was with the Giants. Fresno. Steve Stone was on that team.
Yeah. Here's Fernando Vina, 0 for 2 with a grounder and a fly to left. Lefty-lefty matchup. Fernando trying to hang in against that curveball.
You know, I hit .407 in college. Played the outfield when I was pitching.
And that was where?
In California. But I was going to say that several times Red would use me as a pinch runner. The first time it caught me by surprise, I'm warming up in the bullpen. They called down, "Are you ready?" And I'm going, "Well, yeah, I'll be ready for the end of the inning." You know. The next thing I found out, I was running that second base. I go, "Oh, he meant that way."
Did you stay in and pitch?
Yeah, then I stayed in pitch. You know,
that's interesting.
But I mean, I wasn't quite. I was thinking I had 2 more outs to get loose.
Sure. Red said you're loose. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, more ways than one.
Well, we've got quite a lineup tomorrow night on WB. Rich Gould's going to bring all that to us in a moment. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And, of course, that's after Bull Durham in the afternoon.
Oh, my goodness.
Outside 2 and 2.
Would you like to sit on my lap?
Bull Durham in the afternoon, you know.
Yeah, I understand that.
One of the great baseball movies of all time.
We discussed it.
Yeah. Here's the 2-2. Fernando goes the other way. Scooped up by Feliz to his left. And it's Feliz Navidad. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. Polanco coming up next. So, Rich, what do we have going on the Sunday WB lineup?
Let me tell you this about this. The WB Sunday lineup begins tomorrow at 6. Did you know that?
Do not sit on his lap.
I ain't going there. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, followed by
Buffy.
the Steve Harvey Show. Then, For Your Love, Bob's favorite, by the way, Nikki, a special episode of For Your Love. So Bob in Tulsa will watch this twice. That's all tomorrow night, 6 on the WB 11.
What's my daughter Nikki doing on there?
I don't know, but Polanco's going to be on first base and maybe second. He thought about it twice, and then he decides to come back.
And it's a good thing he did. My daughter Nikki is going to be interning at WB 11 on Monday,
right?
starting Monday.
Doing what?
I think doing the sports.
How'd she get that job?
That's okay with me.
Well, I think that's maybe the only way I'll get my new shirts from Susan.
we all need them, don't we?
Kenny Reitz ripped me and he says, "Why don't you get a new shirt?"
That is a little faded here.
Yeah, she said,
your
he goes, "We're getting a little." Well, I thought I threw it away, you know, because I was getting my new shirts a month or so ago.
Well, some of us sweat heavier than others. And here's Jimmy Edmonds with a chance to get the Cardinals back even or maybe better. McGuire on deck. And Edmonds' first pitch swinging fouls it away.
I didn't get a chance to ask you how the nose hair clipper is working. It looks like it's much better. God knows you needed them. They're much better now. If those of you who don't know what I'm talking about missed our last telecast, which is last Sunday, Bob, on Father's Day,
shared with us,
got some nose hair clippers.
And also he got briefs. He's got briefs.
No,
those tire gauge.
Blue jean Bermuda shorts, Al.
Oh.
Well, they're working.
But he told the world that he wears briefs. Couldn't believe he did that.
Well, you know, you stick around long enough, people will find out some things about you they never really wanted to know. And it's 0-2. We'd like to find out what it feels like to have a 3-3 game right here, maybe 4-3. Good speed at first with Polanco. Edmonds, 38 RBIs.
I hate to shortchange anybody, but it's been a while since we've had back-to-back-to-back jacks.
Uh-oh. Quick move. Polanco was frozen for a moment. Then he got back because his lead wasn't that long. But Kirk Reeder pretty quick over to first base.
Yeah, he has been noted to have a pretty good move to first.
And I noticed J.T. Snow is not playing first base anymore. Felipe Crespo is.
Yep.
I'm thinking J.T. doesn't wear number 52.
I was going to say he got awful thick.
So he's out of there.
Got a little bigger and a little thicker in the bottom. Bigger
Felipe
legs.
Felipe Crespo is now playing first base for the Giants. 0-2 to Edmonds. Target away. The pitch outside with a breaking ball.
You know, it was a long time in deciding whether it was going to be Crespo or JT. JT nursing a groin injury, so he might have aggravated that.
There's our buddy Rich Rieker over there, St. Louis guy, umpiring first base tonight. Mark DeJohn coaching for the Cardinals. There's Rich, who's one of the nice guys in the National League and a very, very good umpire. He'll work the plate tomorrow night. 1-2. Edmonds swings and misses on a big curveball, and the Cardinals are gone in the fifth. Polanco with a 2-out hit. Placido is stranded. Jim Edmonds has made 3 third outs tonight. McGuire will lead off in the sixth. About 10 seconds ago tonight, Southwest Airlines Family of the Game won season tickets for the 2002 season. Unbelievable prizes if you can be the Southwest Airlines Family of the Game. Send your name, address, and phone number to the address on the screen, P.O. Box 771192. St. Louis 63177. Fred Bird may really take care of you. Top of the sixth, here's Barry Bonds. Kyle with a strike. Barry Bonds first inning. 1 on, 1 out. And just like that, a 2-0 Giants lead on his 39th of the year.
Just coming seconds after you assured us that Bonds was not going to see a pitch he could drive.
Yep. Like Ozzie told me once, he said, Carpenter, the game looks awfully easy from up here.
Well, you know, and you know, you can go in with those intentions, but execution is another matter.
And Darryl would be the first to tell you that fastball was not where he wanted to put it. There's a big curveball, and it's 2-2. Darrell's given up 15 homers this year in 107 innings. 2-2 pitch. Challenge him with a fastball, and Bonds off to the left.
And after the second strike, it was a called strike by the home plate umpire, and look at Barry just kind of smiling. Come on, you know that wasn't a strike. Come on, dude.
2-2. Got him. He was not expecting a fastball. Barry Bonds was guessing his way to number 40, and Darryl Kyle strikes him out.
Well, there's what you're talking about, a fastball, and really probably too much. You see where Matheny set up. He wanted to throw that ball up in the zone, and it wasn't there. It was in the wheelhouse. So he got away with this one being in a very dangerous location to a hitter that's hot, hot, hot.
Time given just as Darryl went into his throwing motion. Jeff Kent stepping in. But a footnote on Barry Bonds, and I know there are a lot of people who don't like him, never have, maybe never will, but I will say from everything I've seen, Al, and guys I've talked to, Barry Bonds at this stage of his career is much more mature, much more affable than he has ever been. His teammates like him. He's been a good presence out there, and this is a bit of a different Barry Bonds than baseball really didn't like earlier. Jeff Kent flies to Paquette for the second out.
Well, and I think there's another magical reason for all of this, called option year.
Yeah, there's a lot of speculation. I mean, would that be something if Barry Bonds broke the home run record and then went somewhere else as a free agent?
But Bob, you may be able to help with me on this, but it's my understanding, and we've heard a lot of talk about the Giants built their own ballpark.
Right.
Now, they did have city concessions, and they helped out in certain areas.
Yeah, but it was privately built.
But it was privately built. But you know what the cost is? The ultimate cost is they cannot sign Barry Bonds. They let Ellis Burks walk. They're going to let any time one of these stars come about, they will not have the money to pay, and they will not be competitive in the future because they're buying their own and building their own ballpark.
You're right with that. I mean, that thing was a political football out there for a number of years. It's low and inside to Armando Rios. 1 ball, 1 strike. They had, I think, 3 different public referendums that were just soundly defeated by the voters. There was talk of the Giants going down to San Jose area. There's still talk of the A's ending up down there.
Or the interesting one, the A's, where the Disney Corporation is trying to sell the Angels. There are really no takers, so there is one scenario where the A's will move to Anaheim and the Angels will be dissolved.
There's still talk about contraction, as they call it in Major League Baseball, regarding mainly Montreal. That, of course, is a new twist to the whole thing, the Angels. The Disney company's been trying to get out of that deal for a couple of years. Here's the 2-2, and a breaking ball hit up the middle for a base hit. Disney company spent a lot of money to renovate Anaheim Stadium into Edison International Field of Anaheim. And of course now the naming rights situation is in trouble out there because of the awful power situation in the state of California. I mean, Edison is the power company. So there are a lot of things going on out there in the Golden State that'll be interesting to keep an eye on from a baseball standpoint.
Time is being called as the Rios may have injured himself going down the line.
Benito Santiago, the scheduled hitter.
Somehow looks like he's gotten winded or got a little dizzy.
Even talk of the Athletics ending up in Sacramento, but that's one of those borderline markets that may not be big enough to support a major league team. Benito 0 for 2 tonight. Fastball right in there from Darryl Kyle. By the way, Mark McGwire leads off for the bottom of the 6th. It'll be the 3rd time Big Mac has led off an inning tonight. That's why Tony used to bat him 3rd a lot, get him up there in the 1st inning and then take it from there. Benito in the number 6 hole for the Giants, doing a nice job, batting .315. Wide open stance. Armando doesn't look like he's feeling real good over there right now. Robbie Thompson, the longtime Giants infielder, is the coach over there. What a good career he had.
Kidding with Robbie today, clubhouse. You know who signed him?
Nope.
Don Zimmer's son, Tommy.
Mark Carlson, the umpire, just able to skip away from that one. And the Giants are taking Darryl Kyle right up the middle.
Probably the most embarrassing thing to an umpire is to be hit by a batted ball. And you can see this one coming right at him, and at the last second, he figures out which way to go to avoid being hit. Mr. Carlson.
1st and 2nd for the Giants. And that's a 6-game hitting streak now for Benito Santiago, and the first at bat tonight for Felipe Crespo, who's a switch hitting infielder. He replaced J.T. Snow in the top of this inning. But folks, this is how the Giants beat you. This is the kind of club they've had the last couple of years. Barry Bonds hasn't always hit home runs like he is now, and Jeff Kent, of course, was the MVP. The last couple of years, the Giants, in being regular contenders in the West, they're a ball club that'll get a lot of 2-out hits on you. They'll play good defense. They never really overwhelm you with their offense. Remember when Bill Miller was there, he was a guy who fit right into that.
They also have very solid relief work.
Yeah, they've always had one of the best bullpens in the National League. Rob Nen, there's Sonny Jackson.
Sonny Jackson,
who once rose above the fact that he coached our own Tom Mee in the minor leagues.
Well, but he was
nice
smart
to
enough.
See somebody made the big leagues from there.
Smart enough to release him. That is Lefevre over at first base. Is Robbie Thompson, their normal first base coach, is now the bench coach is Wotus, Ron Wotus. He has left the ball club due to injury.
Okay.
And so Joe Lefevre is one of their minor league coordinators. He'll be here until Wotus comes back.
Reno, suddenly a 2-out, none-on inning is looking a little hairy here. And that's ball 4 to load the bases. Did that hit him? Yeah, it did. That's a hit by pitch on a high tight fastball. It didn't really matter. It was a 3-0 pitch. And Pedro Feliz could really hurt the Cardinals here. Cardinals are down by a run, and Kyle just gave up 2 hits, and this hit batter to load him up. Looked like a little glancing blow.
Grazing, second batter hit by.
So there is Crespo. Santiago ahead of him, and Armando Rios at third. He started the inning with a 2-out hit.
Bell's hit 10 batters this year now.
Feliz takes a curveball in there.
Good way to start. Good ahead breaking ball. Remember, a guy batting 189. So he's the 8th place hitter. You expect to win this game, you have to dominate. You have to get him out right here.
Fastball misses. 7-4. Pirates now lead the Montreal Expos after 7.5 in Pittsburgh. And the Astros put a 4 spot on the board in the 4th. They lead the Reds 8-2 now. Cardinals trail 3-2. Big hook, strike 2. Important to keep this a 1-run game, considering who the leadoff man is in the bottom of this inning. This is our first Saturday night game of the year, by the way. Cardinals have played all Saturday day games up until now. 1-2, and it's outside.
Didn't realize that.
Night game tomorrow, off day Monday. Reds in here Tuesday, Wednesday, off day Thursday. And next weekend, the Cardinals at San Francisco for 3. Two. Big curveball, foul tip.
And he couldn't hold on to it.
Tony pacing nervously. The way his offense is going, he knows he can't afford to fall behind too far. Cardinals have not been much of a comeback team at all, and they seldom win low-scoring games. 2-2. Threw him a fastball and whipped it right by him. 3 stranded. Giants have left 5. Mark McGwire, even in the dugout, is the tying run. He'll lead off the bottom of the 6th. 3-2 Giants. Bear St. Louis is coming to our town July 1st, 3rd, and 4th after the debut on June the 30th. Lighten up the levee on Tuesday, July 3rd. Local bands, fireworks, nighttime air show. Beach Boys, Diamond Rio, Leanne Womack, Patty LaBelle, Chief Trick will be here. The Commodores will be here. Thanks to a lot of great volunteers. And you saw the number 434-3434 or the website at www.fairstl.org. Always a great time. Cardinals will be out of town that week. They'll be in Milwaukee. And here's Big Mac, bottom of the 6th. Mark is 0 for 1 with a walk and a fly ball to left. 2 home runs under the .563 of Reggie Jackson. Then he'll set his sights on Harmon Killebrew and Frank Robinson. Then it'll be a while because Willie Mays has .660. Outside and low from Kirk Reeder, who has given up some home runs this year. We mentioned earlier 14. The 1-0 to Mack. Low, sinking fastball. Way upstairs, ball 3. Yeah, they're booing again. 1-run game and a 3-0 pitch. Off speed at the letters. Takes guts to throw a 3-0 pitch up there at 77 miles an hour. Mark will step out, swat away some bugs, and maybe swat away a fly ball here to tie this thing up. Here's a 3-1 to McGwire. Off speed, he walked it. As a leadoff man tonight, Mark has been on base 2 out of 3 times. Third walk issued by Kirk Reeder.
It was more than he has given up in his career, or averaged in his career, about 2.6 walks per 9 innings. But you know, Reeder, very rarely does he finish what he starts.
Yeah, what, 4 complete games his entire career?
Yep. But you know, he's very efficient. Walks pretty. You know, he goes out there and gives you his 6, 7 innings, and a lot of times they have the lead.
Pujols with a high fly ball, left field line. It'll play for Barry Bonds at the edge of the track for the first out, and Albert Pujols still short of that Cardinal rookie home run record of 21.
I think once he gets that record, then he's going to kind of relax and settle in, and he'll come in at a more frequent pace. But, you know, sometimes you want to get rid of a record, or you want to have that one more milestone, and you know, you do things and pick up some bad habits.
Hey, Dave McKay's back.
Oh man,
that must have been a brief ceremony up in Canada.
Those Hall of Famers, they get back here so quick.
Man, that was fast. Well, I did notice he was not pitching BP to Mark tonight, so we knew he wasn't around. Here's Paquette. He goes up first pitch swinging, which he often does. Fouls it away. Craig loves to go up there hacking. Well, he's got a base hit in 2 trips tonight and a batting average of .254.
Did it the other day in a pinch hitting role and hit a home run. And a lot of times he will do that because people try to get ahead of you. He gets in trouble late swinging a bad breaking ball.
Similar swing, similar foul, and an 0-2 count.
You know, a breaking ball that's a strike and a ball that's up, you know, he can hit that one with authority and drive it. But they'll try and get him, particularly right-handers, try and get him to chase the breaking ball down and away.
0-2 pitch, 1 on, 1 out. And a base hit to left. Paquette swings at 3 pitches, fouls 2, gets a hit. He's 2 for 3. And you're watching Cardinal Baseball on KPLR TV St. Louis, WBE 11 in the Cardinal Television Network.
Talk about chase a lot of balls down, but a ball down in the middle of the plate is very hittable. A ball that's down off the plate is the one that you look bad at going after it. So Craig, who is now 2 for 3 in this ball game, the first 2 hits he's ever gotten off a Reeder. And Righetti, Dave Righetti, the pitching coach for Dusty Baker. Boy, there's a pretty good one right there. He come out and slow things down as they get the bullpen active.
I want to just tell you a little bit more about the barbecue on the field Sunday, July 22nd. You'll receive a blanket when you arrive, and you can have a picnic in the park on the Busch Stadium and outfield. The beneficiaries this year: Almost Home, Churchill School, the Howard Park Early Childhood Center, and Youth in Need. And you can be a corporate sponsor, an MVP, a most valuable patron, or an all-star for $125 a ticket. You gave one up to Reggie?
I gave up 1 hit to Reggie, but
we don't have it, do we?
Oh yeah, of course we do. Our guys are good. Our guys are good. You know, sometimes you get up here in the booth and everybody thinks that you know everything and that you've never made a bad pitch. We just want to prove to people that
you're fallible.
I'm fallible.
You're fallible.
You know what? You know, of course, you probably should say 564 because they don't count those.
Yeah.
Postseason, yeah. That was the only hit I gave up to Reggie. Someday we'll get into the more proud time where I got him fined $50,000 and suspended by Billy Martin.
You know, and obviously postseason home runs cannot add on to your single season total.
Right.
But they should count for your career total. You know, I mean, the career total, that doesn't hurt anything.
I understand that, but
you know, but some guys like Mantle and Maris got to go to the World Series a lot more than other guys.
Absolutely.
2-0 pitch. Off speed, ball 3. Cardinals are 1 pitch away from juicing the bases with 1 out here in the 6th. McGuire at second, Paquette at first. 3-0 pitch. Edgar taking all the way, and that one crosses the birds on the bat for a strike. Reggie Jackson and Billy Martin. Goodness gracious. How'd they ever make it through a whole season? There's a walk. Bases loaded. 4 walks by Reeder tonight. Reggie taken out of a game. Didn't like it, did he?
He wasn't hustling on a ball in the field. This is in Boston. And took him out, and very 2 fiery guys. I got him spending $50,000 and fined $50,000, which is illegal. You can't do, and suspended 1 game. Billy told him to bunt against him. There's Tim Worrell, and he'll be coming in this ball game. It's a good story, but we'll probably say that for another day. Dusty and I've got some good stories too.
That Dusty was tough to get out. And there's Todd's little brother Tim, who came over to the Giants and has done a pretty good job. Kirk Reeder is gone. 4 walks. He's given the Cardinals 6 hits. He still could possibly win the game, but there's a long way to go for that to happen. Cardinals have the bases loaded, 1 out in the bottom of the 6th inning. When we come back, Mike Matheny will be batting with the bases loaded, and the Cards a chance to tie or take the lead. Telecast presented by authority of the St. Louis Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Well, the Cardinals we're televising. The Giants are televising. Fox Sports Net is televising their national game from Busch Stadium tonight. Dave Armstrong and George Frazier are here doing that. And I'm happy to sit next to my partner, Al Roboski. Rich Gould has been helping us out tonight. And the Cardinals, a great opportunity here, partner, against Tim Worrell in the bottom of the 6th.
Now, Timmy's been very busy. His 35th time, but he is 5th most relief innings. 40 in the 3rd innings, 38 hits, 3 home runs, 16 walks, and 35 strikeouts. He is unscored upon in his last 4 outings, covering 4 2/3 innings. That was after allowing 11 earned runs in his previous 9 2/3. Younger brother of Todd Worrell.
Marks at 3rd. Craig Paquettes at 2nd. Edgar's at 1st. And Mike Matheny in the batter's box. And Dusty had the option there of leaving Reeder in with the knowledge that he might be able to get a double play ball, but he goes with the right-handed matchup here.
There's Matheny with the bases loaded, 345, pair of slams. Right-handed batters are batting 235 off of Worrell. Throws a lot of sliders, but Reeder's kind of that history. Once he goes quickly.
Matheny fouls one out of play. Tim Worrell came over from the Cubs in the Bill Miller deal. How's Bill Miller doing, Al? Have you heard much?
Well, I've heard now that they've kind of pushed him back to maybe August, where he'll rejoin the Cubs. Reeder threw exactly 100 pitches. And the Cardinals with 1 out here, the bases loaded. A golden opportunity to tie the score, if not go ahead.
But the count is 0-2, and Darryl Kyle is next. Mike's got to get the bat on the ball here. He does, and nobody's going anywhere. 2 outs as Jeff Kent catches that little pop fly. And the Cardinals call Darryl Kyle back and call on Bobby Bonilla.
Well, they have a left-hander in their bullpen. You know, Bobby Bonilla, who had phenomenal success, 7 for 12 with 4 home runs against the starter, Kurt Reeder. But he couldn't answer the bell with a sore knee. So Tony may be trying to deke Dusty into making a pitching change here. But obviously, you prefer to have Bonilla batting from the right side.
Right. Yeah, this year left-handed Bobby's only 7 for 54, a 130 batting average. But one swing could erase some of that. And he takes a strike at the knees. Well, he probably didn't like the call of Jerry Davis. Darryl Kyle goes 6, 3 runs, 7 hits, 5 walks, or rather 5 strikeouts, and no walks. Here's the 0-1. It is low, and Santiago smothers
9 career grand slams. He hit his 9th one on June 15th against the White Sox. It was his 2nd career pinch hit homer. Let's go for 10 and 3.
A 6-3 lead would look pretty good right here. Cardinals going to have to turn the rest of this one over to the bullpen.
You don't mind if Bobby Bo can do something spectacular and give the possibility of Darryl Kyle a win and a Cardinal lead right here.
1-1 the count. And a little chopper out towards short. Aurelia, who just checked in on a double switch, throws out Bobby Bonilla, and the Cardinals leave 3. They have stranded 7 base runners tonight. Frustrating inning. Cardinals, though, still in it, down by just 1. Hey, Cardinal fans, this coming Tuesday, Cardinals-Reds singular wireless pin night. First 30,000 fans with a paid admission receive a collector pin commemorating the 2001 Cardinal divisional title, courtesy of Singular Wireless. That'll be Tuesday when the Cards and the Reds get together. What a great gift. Mike Timlin will take over for the Cards in the 7th. And Rich Aurelia, who came in on the double switch when the Giants made their pitching change, will be the leadoff man he will face, and then the top of the order.
Mike's pitching some of his best games right now. He's appearing for the 34th time. He has 2 wins, 3 losses, 1 save. 39 innings, 39 hits, 10 walks, 26 strikeouts, 4 home runs allowed, and he has allowed just 1 hit and no runs in his last 5 appearances, covering 6 2/3 innings.
So the Cardinals on the short end of a 3-2 score. Hey, a final footnote on the barbecue. July 22nd. Here's how you can order tickets. You can call the Cardinals switchboard during regular business hours at 421-3060, or access the Cardinal website at www.stlcardinals.com. Rich Gould and the commissioner. What's going on over there?
Always great to talk to the commish. Well, we've seen a Bonds home run tonight, and we've had so much talk. I know Barry doesn't want to hear it, but in your opinion, can he hit 70?
Sure, but I don't think that he will, because that's still 31 home runs to go. How many guys hit 30 home runs in a season these days? More than usual, but still, that's a lot of home runs. Can he do it? Yes. Do I think he will? No.
We've had so much talk also over the week about a new ballpark, a new baseball village here in St. Louis. What are your thoughts on that, Rick?
Well, it's too bad in a way the owners made this place look so nice, because it is really old, and they do need a new ballpark, yeah.
And if they get it, it's just going to be spectacular. I mean, they're going to do it first class.
Yeah, they've observed all the other ballparks, Baltimore, Atlanta, Cleveland, Seattle, you name it, Texas. This will be the best of all of them, maybe with a little bit extra.
Rick Hummel, he's the best, isn't he, guys?
Rick Hummel, Cardinal beat writer for the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. You're not up to date on baseball unless you read Rick's All Over Baseball column every Sunday.
Which we will tomorrow.
Yes, we will. Ball 1 to Rich Aurelia, who's having a wonderful season, batting .354, leading the league. That ball way out of play. Great crowd tonight. Almost all the seats are full.
Aurelia last year in 141 games batted .271. He did have 20 home runs and 79 RBIs, but the .354 average is what is so surprising, and he's been carrying that average all through the year.
Yeah, not bad for a guy whose career batting average was .270. Out to deep short. Renteria circles behind it on the run, right on target. And that's how the top of the 7th gets underway.
Like Aurelia, they told me that he was just getting a rest today, but he didn't look like he was running that well going down the line. Maybe even a little bit of a slight limp, ankle or calf area.
Rich Aurelia was originally with the Texas Rangers. He came to the Giants with infielder Desi Wilson in a deal for John Burkett at the end of the '94 season. He's been the best shortstop in the National League for homers and RBIs the last 2 years. And a foul tip off the bat of Calvin Murray. Cardinals haven't been able to keep this guy off base tonight. Hit by a pitch, scored a run in the first, a single in the third, an RBI single in the fifth. Giants beat the Cardinals last night 10-5, lead 3-2 here. And a little number, a little foul on the right field side. And it's important for Mike Timlin to get Murray and get Martinez, and then you'll worry about Barry Bonds leading off the 8th inning.
Interesting. I was just looking. You know, Edgar Renteria won the Silver Slugger Award, best hitting shortstop in the National League, a year ago. And numbers are real interesting between Aurelia and Renteria.
0-2.
Renteria hit .278. He had 16 home runs and 76 RBIs. Aurelia hit .271, 20 home runs, 79 RBIs.
And that breaking ball evens the count 2-2. Rich Aurelia also cashing in. Giants gave him a new 3-year contract through 2004. That'll kick in next year.
Edgar did have 32 RBIs or 32 doubles to 24.
Deep short. Renteria gets it out of his glove. Look at that arm strength. Out at first base. That was a very difficult play, and it looked for an instant like Edgar had a little trouble getting it out of his glove. The great arm compensated for that.
Well, we've seen him play very well in the field today. There you saw the little bobble, kind of reached in, had to re-grab the ball to get the grip on it. Right there, but still with that strong throwing arm right over the top. Short hops McGuire, but he's able to snag it and hold on to it.
Good play at both ends. 2 outs, bases empty. Now Timlin wants to work on Ramon Martinez. Line drive to left field. It's going to hang up. Paquette. Yeah. And that'll make Barry Bonds wait another inning. So the Cardinals, who played well defensively tonight, take away a hit there. Well done by Greg Paquette. Top of the order, down by 1. Cardinal Baseball is a production of Bud Sports and an exclusive presentation of Fox Sports Net. Well, some people just don't like to stretch. That's all right. Waiting in their seats for a 7th inning rally here. And the Giants will make a pitching change to their left-hander Aaron Foltz after 2/3 of an inning, and a great job by Tim Worrell, to keep the Cardinals from tying at the game in the bottom of the 6th.
Foltz appearing for the 31st time. 2 wins, 1 loss, 3.55 ERA, 1 save. Opponent's batting .252. 38 innings, 35 hits, 3 home runs, 11 walks, and 36 strikeouts. So we saw him the last year or so.
Giants have a good bullpen. Their other lefty is a very dependable one, Alan Embry. And Aaron Foltz will take on Vina, Polanco, and Edmonds at the top of the Cardinal order here in the bottom of the 7th. Fernando flies one out of play to the left side. Richard Aaron Foltz, born in Memphis, lives down in Alabama now. He's a 27-year-old lefty, 6 foot, 206. 8 years in the minor leagues before he made it up to the Giants last season. And Fernando trying that little running bunt that he used so well against the Cubs the other night, fouled at 0-2. How many years, Al, did you have in the minors before you made it?
Less than a year.
You were a rarity then in those days.
Yeah.
Because a lot of guys in the 60s, 70s had to do long apprenticeships in the minor leagues before those big league jobs were available. the middle, speared by the pitcher. And Fernando Vina is 0 for 4 tonight.
Then I completed the season, went in the Army, and had to go back to the minor leagues and kind of work myself back.
Let's see, Al Rabotsky in the Army. They didn't let you anywhere near any hand grenades, did they?
I was a weapons and demolition expert.
You were. I know a lot of bullpen guys who were that.
And
Saving Private Rabotsky, I can see it now.
And there were several young guys that came over, of about 60 last night, that almost got to see my complete arsenal. Time to leave, guys.
Fly ball, well hit, but right at the right fielder, Armando Rios. And here comes Jim Edmonds again in that situation. Barry Bonds will have to lead off in the top of the 8th.
Rios.
Jim Edmonds has made 3 third outs already tonight, forcing McGuire to lead off 3 times.
Oh, not a fourth, not a fourth. See Barry looking on. He's looking up there, thinking about contemplating his next at bat, but what are our big guns going to do with 2 outs? What's Edmonds and then McGuire and Pujols going to do?
Cardinals haven't scored a 2-out run tonight. They've stranded 7 runners, 5 of those in the last 3 innings, 2 in the second. Little guy's doing most of the damage tonight other than Barry Bonds. They have an RBI from their leadoff spot. Cardinals have one from Renteria 7th and Kyle hitting 9th. Darrow with a 2nd career home run earlier.
Looks like this would be the last batter for Aaron Fultz.
That Felix Rodriguez throwing out there.
Yep, Felix Rodriguez, who's come into his own as one of the absolute best setup men to the National League's best reliever in Rob Dent.
Rob Dent, 21 saves. Braves traded John Rocker last night, who had 19. One other man with 19, Jeff Shaw, the Dodgers, Jose Mesa, the Phillies, 18. So those are your top closers right now.
Remlinger gave up a home run in the 9th inning to tie that game. They went into extra innings, and all of a sudden Atlanta ends up with a 9-3 lead or win in extra innings. They must have had some fun.
1-2 pitch. Edmonds hacks it up the middle. Jeff Kent over to smother it. And Mark McGuire will lead off for the 4th time in the bottom of the 8th inning. We played 7 at beautiful Busch Stadium. 3-2 Giants. This portion of Cardinal Baseball on WB11 is brought to you by Bank of America. We find financial solutions that fit you. By Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. For tires and complete auto service, all you need is Dobbs. Bob and Al, Rich Gould with us at the ballpark. Festive crowd, but not a whole lot to cheer about. What a beautiful night in St. Louis. It was 82 degrees at game time. Weatherman told us it might be down into the high 60s by the end of the game. I don't think it's going to make it down that far. It is absolutely perfect. But a win will make it more so. Steve Klein will take over for the Cardinals here in the 8th.
Everything perfect, but the score, you got a chance to see a good battle here with Steve Klein against Barry Bonds to start off this top of the 8th inning. 40th first game, 1-1 record. Look at the ERA, 1.62, pair of saves, 33 in the 3rd innings, 22 hits, very good situation there. Steve Klein now leads the National League in appearances with his 41st. Steve was telling us a fun story, and we'll share it with you after we see the drama of Barry Bonds and Steve Klein.
How about that? A little gal rooting for the Cardinals here. At least her daddy will tell her she was rooting for the Cardinals. And here's Barry Bonds, 1 for 3 with a 2-run homer. Breaking ball in there. Jeff Becerra of the Cubs, Graham Lloyd of the Expos, the other pitchers who started this day with 40 appearances like the Cardinal left-hander. Pretty good looking hook, but ball one. Barry Bonds, 533 home runs. Right behind Jimmy Fox, the great Boston Red Sox slugger, who's 10th on the all-time list.
Well, with our trio of left-handers, Klein, Matthews, and Christensen have held opposing left-handed batters to a 127 average, 15 for 118 with no home runs. Klein has allowed just 5 hits to a left-hander and 48 at-bats.
And a breaking ball way outside.
With his condensed robotic arm.
I thought they were cracking down on all that
well,
stuff.
They made a rule that you could not have any padding that's longer than 10 inches. So instead of it going almost from the top of the shoulder and all the way down, you know, it just protects the elbow. 3-2 pitch. Still going to be a breaking ball. Be the slider. Maybe a fastball out there, but
wow, how close was that? Steve Klein can't believe it. There were 2 breaking balls in that at bat that looked close enough.
It was the slider again, and Jerry Davis said it was a little bit wide. Steve Klein last week, he threw a pitch. There's the breaking ball right off the plate, and looking at that, they wanted it, but it looks like
our camera offset at that angle. That was close.
Yeah, real close. But Klein crossed up Matheny, threw a pitch. He was looking for a breaking ball. It was a fastball, hit him right in the bicep. And you know, pitchers don't like to do that.
Jeff Kent with a base hit, and the Giants have 2 on, nobody out here in the 8th.
After the game. And right now, Matheny's just jumping on him a little bit, and that's the kind of guy he wants to have that interplay. And so as Matheny said, I owe you one. And he said, are you ready for it? And Klein wasn't sure and everything like that. And Matheny popped him in the jaw. Klein goes, man, that was awesome. He said, that was the greatest thing ever happened. I love that.
Steve Klein may be the only major leaguer active who would have that reaction. He is something else. Looking to bunt. Rios. Throw to second. Very close. As Barry Bonds circled behind Renteria to make it back to the bag.
Well, Mike's thrown out base stealers at 56% of the time, and he's picked off a couple guys. And you kind of watch right here. He gets out there in no man's land. He kind of stepped around the tag. He went to the back end as the throw is a little bit up front.
Gary's having fun these days, isn't he?
Yep.
Polanco close at third. McGuire creeping in at first. There's a strike call as Rios pulled the bat back. If you're Armando Rios, you'd love to bunt the ball right at Polanco and give them only 1 play to first, and those runners move up. The Cardinals in danger of falling into 3rd place if they lose this game tonight. Here's the 1-1. Low. Astros beating up on the Reds 9-3 after 7 in Houston. And the Cardinals would not only be in 3rd place, they would be tied for 3rd with Houston if they don't come back and win this thing.
Polanco, the 3rd baseman, telling Steve what the bunt play is. You always, most of the time, you verbalize it to the pitcher and you'll flash a sign to the rest of the infield. But Dusty Baker might have switched off.
2-1 pitch. There's the little bunt, but it goes foul. A little squibber off to the left side, and that'll even the count 2-2.
Watch where Polanco is. Which play is it? Now, this play that they had on was that Klein covers the middle of the field. When Polanco saw that the ball was foul and just right at home plate, he started retracing his steps, getting back so he could try and get the lead runner, but it was a foul ball.
2-2. Can they afford to bunt now? Ball gets away on a taken ball 3. A walk to Bonds, a first pitch base hit by Jeff Kent. And now Steve Klein and the Cardinals are in hot water here in the 8th inning. The bullpen is busy.
Steve has allowed runs in just 4 of his league-leading 40 appearances.
Steck Schulte throwing for the Cardinals. 3-2, big pitch. And a little foul ball as Rios hangs tough. How about those Marlins? They beat the Phillies tonight 12-1. Florida is 2.5 games out of first place, tied with Atlanta.
Those good young pitching arms, and they got some young talent there. And when Dave Dombrowski was forced to make the fire sale, he got a lot of great young talent and a lot of stockpiling of pitching in return.
3-2 pitch. That's as good as a sacrifice if it's fair, but it's not. Boy, tickets were tough to get tonight. 48,517 fans here at Busch Stadium tonight.
You know they're going to be tough tomorrow for bobblehead.
That'll push the Cardinals over 1.5 million for the year. Mike Matheny bobblehead night tomorrow night. Three-two pitch. And a big strikeout for Steve Klein. He threw him a nasty breaking ball, and Armando Rios could not make contact.
Well, that's what he needed. He had to get this breaking ball over and get that strike, and it looks like now with the Santiago coming up, Dave Duncan is going to go to Steck Schulte.
And Gene's been throwing for a couple of minutes. Steve Klein still steaming about that walk to Barry Bonds. So he'll pitch a third of an inning. 1 hit, 1 walk, 1 strikeout, but he is responsible for 2 men on base.
Not happy coming out of this game, but that's the kind of competitor he is. He just wants to stay in there, and he understands the managerial decision. He just wants to do his job and do more of it.
So 2 on, 1 out. Gene Steck Schulte and Benito Santiago when we come back to Busch. Cardinals 3-2 down, hoping to keep it right there. Well, Steve Klein still having a hard time keeping still in that Cardinal dugout. He is a man who wears his emotions on his sleeve and on his face. So very upset about that 3-2 pitch he didn't get to Barry Bonds. That was a big strikeout to Armando Rios, though, and now Gene Steck Schulte takes over for the Redbirds.
Well, Steck Schulte's got to pick up Klein and his teammates and keep this a 1-run deficit. Gene will come into this ball game 0-3, 3.86 ERA, and it's his 32nd appearance. What happens, the 2 men that he inherits will determine whether any damage is done against Steve Klein. Talking about inherited runners, Steck Schulte has inherited 13 and only 2 have scored. First batter retired, 21 of 32.
Gene Steck Schulte now with the Cardinals the entire season. This is his 33rd appearance. Throws a fastball that misses away. He can bring it. And Benito Santiago extended his hitting streak to 6 games tonight. He is 9 for his last 26 and batting .319. Benito Santiago at the reported age of 36. Broken bat, base hit. Bonds had to hold up, and now he'll score anyway. That ball was hit so slowly, it hit the outfield grass and died, and the Giants lead 4-2. And that's the 3-2 pitch that Steve Klein made that just scored the run that we thought could have been strike 3.
Get it on the end of the bat, or do you get jammed with it? Look at the bat wickedly going out towards Polanco and just inside there. He had the shortstop and third baseman, so Bonds kind of had to hold, and then he turns on the afterburners. Not as quick as when he once was, but he's still an impact player. And obviously he's doing it all with the bat.
He is something. Now the Cardinals need a double play ball. Felipe Crespo, the batter. Nasty breaking ball by Stechschilde for strike one. Kansas City beat Cleveland tonight 3-2, with Minnesota losing. That keeps the Indians up by a game and a half in the AL Central. We will see that Cleveland ball club in about a week and a half. Cardinals will have an interleague series in Cleveland. Here's the 0-1. And Stechschilde slips it by Felipe Crespo again. A strikeout would be nice. The pitcher spot is due up next because of a double switch they made. There's a very familiar guy standing in the on-deck circle. You folks know it's either Sean or Eric, and it is Sean Dunston, not Eric Davis. 0-2. Got him with a strikeout. Stechschilde showing the ability to throw some nasty breaking balls to a left-handed batter right there.
That's a good sign, because it's one of his things that he needs to work on and get consistent with his breaking pitches.
And some nice applause for Sean Dunston.
Rightfully so.
What a delight he was for the Cardinals last year. Actually was with the Cardinals 2 years ago, went to the Mets, then came back last year. He hit .250 for the Cardinals with 43 RBIs last year, 12 home runs in 216 at-bats. Just wonderful production by one of the great guys in the clubhouse and on the field.
.291 average for the Giants, 3 home runs, 9 RBIs.
He was the first player taken in the entire Major League draft. The Cardinals last won the World Series in '82. 270 career hitter. Cubs, Giants, Cubs, Pirates, Cleveland, Giants, Cardinals, Mets, Cardinals, Giants. His stops along the way. Line drive up the middle in front of Edmonds. Jimmy will throw it home. The runner, Kent, looks out. Yeah, he is out. Jerry Davis waiting to see if Matheny would hold on to the ball. Jim Edmonds, 2 outfield assists tonight. One at third, one at home, and this great throw by Edmonds keeps it a 4-2 game into the bottom of the 8th. Well, Jim Edmonds has saved the Cardinals at least a couple of runs tonight. And a 4-2 game as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Our Bud Light play of the game. With a great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down. Make it a Bud Light.
Well, he's, like you said, another strong throw. He's so accurate. He's won 3 Gold Gloves. The reigning Gold Glover winner in the National League last year. He's making a strong case once again here tonight. With 2 great throws, he's helped keep this just to a 2-run deficit.
You know, Al, the tail end of that replay brings up an interesting question. And this, I'm asking you this as a fan. Why does Mike Matheny end up with that ball in his bare hand as opposed to his glove?
Well, because, you know, it's still with that hinge. You know, if you got it in your bare hand and you got a vice grip on it, and it's, I think you find that you're going to hold on to it as long as you possibly can. Then you take it into the bare hand. And like this. Here is one of the absolute best setup men in all of baseball, Felix Rodriguez. He has not allowed a run since May the 7th, the span of 18 straight scoreless outings and 20 consecutive shutout innings. He unscored upon the 29 of his 33 appearances. He's first in the National League and second amongst all Major League relievers with a 1.29 ERA. How about that?
Arizona gave up on him. He had been with the Reds and the Dodgers before that.
Well, remember, he was a catcher in the Dodgers organization. And while he didn't hit too well, so they said, well, he got a great throwing arm, that tall, lanky body. Let's make you a pitcher.
First pitch fastball for a strike to Mark. Dwyer 0 for 1 with a couple of walks. High octane here, folks. 97 on our gun, 96 on the stadium gun. Either way, that is bringing it.
He's got a little slider to go with it, too.
Mark with a base hit to left. That's a start. And McGuire's on base for the 3rd time tonight. He plays leadoff guy and gets a base hit with his team down by 2 here in the 8th.
Mark starting to pick things up, starting to locate the ball and put a level swing on it. 97, and yet right back there. You hit it so hard, now that speed will bring it out to you. Barry standing flat-footed, but he was thinking it's either going to be a swing and a miss or it's going to be a long fly over my head.
Well, if he
didn't expect a single.
If he hits 70 homers, we'll see a lot of guys wearing their pants like that next year. Here's Albert Pujols, 1 for 3. Tying run at the plate. Cardinals down 4-2. They've been out hit 10-7. Albert, though, hits into a lot of double plays. Number 1 in the National League. He's grounded into a dozen.
But he went about 6 weeks before he hit his 12th double play. And part of that factor is you hit the ball so hard that they're able to turn 2. And these Giants turn a lot.
They've turned 1 tonight. 83 on the year for the Giants defense. And that is the most in the National League.
Sometimes that stat is a little deceiving. It means you have a lot of base runners, a lot of opportunities.
There are teams in the American League with more, Toronto and Kansas City and Texas. So there you have it.
Those, a couple, particularly Kansas City. There's Jordan Vina with Fernando.
Come on, Daddy. Let's see if Albert can give us the lead here, he says. 2 balls and a strike to Albert. They're playing behind McGuire. Had him locked up. Did he go? No. What a good job by Pujols of laying off that. That completely changes the at-bat. Rich Rieker said no swing, and instead of 2-2, it's now 3-1.
Tried to jam him, come in, did a good job of laying off pitch. Now Albert's helping Santiago know what the count is.
In only 1 inning tonight, do the Cardinals have more than 1 hit?
Well, you got a real hard thrower like this pitcher, Rodriguez. A lot of times you'll squib a ball to right side.
That's high. 2 on, nobody out. The Cardinals have received 5 walks from the Giants tonight. 4 of them by the starter, Kirk Reeder, and a big spot for Craig Paquette. Eli Marrero will go over to first base now in an interesting, second base. He'll run for McGuire now. So Mark is done for the night.
Had to come out of game the other day of getting his thumb jammed, and Tony was telling me, he said he says he could play, but he doesn't really know if he could. Probably said he could get behind the plate and work, but didn't know if he'd be able to bat. We're talking about Marrero.
And I know what Tony's thinking here. If there's a base hit into the outfield, he's got to have a runner who can score from second base.
Well, you got the best setup man in the National League, and then right behind him, you're going to have the best closer in the National League. So this may be your only shot.
Yeah, so this is it in the 8th. And I mean, and then you look at the outfield, and you see where Barry Bonds and Calvin Murray are playing. Mark McGuire could trot home on a base hit. I mean, there's Barry, and Calvin is a rumor in center field. I think he's out there.
Well, now the play is, what do you do with Paquette?
Yeah, do you bunt? Do you swing?
It's not easy when somebody throws as hard as Felix Rodriguez. And if he can elevate the ball, it's not the easiest thing to get a bunt down.
They are shallow at the corners. There's Crespo, and there's Martinez at third.
But you hit a ball on the ground, it's a double play ball, too.
And you never know. He might walk the bases loaded Edgar Renteria's on deck.
Runners is terrific. Yeah, he's been good this year in that department. And I think, too, one of the things is you're going to go up there with the intent that you're going to sacrifice. But if you get so deep into an account and all of a sudden you're hitting in a very enviable position, you might change your mind.
Uh-oh, bunts it in the air, but fortunately way back over the screen.
That's what I was talking about. A hard thrower and a guy like this, it's not going to be easy to get that bunt down. And if you get it out there, you know, you've got a likelihood you can pop it up, or you almost hit a line drive right at somebody bunting and run the risk of having a double play that way.
Cardinal crowd, 48,000 tonight, making some noise here in the 8th inning. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 on, nobody out. Cardinals down by 2. Paquette unable to bunt. And that foul makes it strike 2.
Didn't look like he really got the bat out in fair territory because it makes contact jumping at it, and then it bounced back up and hit the bat again, but he was standing in the batter's box. Now, this is where a manager, you know, you practice these things on a daily basis, you work on it in spring training, but when you can't execute in the game, got one big strike to get the job done.
Blowing away, ball 2. And if you're a base runner, you have to be alert. Al told you earlier, Benito Santiago has always been great, throwing from his knees, gunning out, throwing runners out from behind. So Eli at second, and Albert Pujols 90 feet behind him have to really be aware of what's going on around them. The risk is less for Pujols because Crespo is charging for the bunt. Now the count's 2-2. Runners are going, and a flare right center. It's in there. 1-run score. Pujols to third. It's a 4-3 game. How about that?
Well, that's what I talked about. You go up there thinking bunt, but if it goes deep enough into account, maybe you switch off. Not the easiest guy to bunt against, not easy to get a base hit, but you can see with the infield drawn in on the right side, then you get this little clunker, and you get 1 run in, and you got runners at the corners and nobody out. So nice going. Craig Paquette, he continues that great hitting with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, nice call, partner. Avery Getty to the mound, tying runs at third base. Mike Matheny in the on-deck circle. So the Cardinals now, well, you've got to tie the game because it does so many things. It may not keep Rob Nen out of this game in the 9th inning, but if you at least tie it, he can't shut the door on you. And maybe you take the lead here. Rob Nen, one of the most sinister right-handers in all of baseball. 21 saves already this year and 247 in his major league career. And he is still a relatively young man. Rob Nen is only 31. There's a guy that we might be talking about 6-7 years from now, Al, challenging for the all-time save mark if he keeps doing what he's doing. But we'll worry about him later. Superlatives on Rob Nen when necessary. Edgar Renteria. A lot of little things happening in this game tonight other than the Barry Bonds home run.
How about something in the right field?
How about a line drive caught by Kent? Good base running by the Cardinals to avoid a double play. Edgar could not have hit the ball any harder.
Edgar, you just tough luck, but you just do that more times than not, and you're going to be a hero in this situation. Real tough base running, because remember, you want to end this losing streak. Everybody has a tendency to try and do too much, and so Paquette, that's the first thing a first base coach and third base coach say: don't get doubled off a line drive. I know, coach. I know.
Yeah, and then a lot of them do
a false step.
Well, Paquette did the job. Now Matheny can still tie the game with a fly ball. Anything but the double play here. Gene Steckschulte is in the on-deck circle, but the Cardinals have a bunch of left-handed bats in that dugout.
He's one of our better hitters.
Well, I know.
Still batting 1,000.
Pitch out, no squeeze, no steal. Ball 1.
Mentioned that 18 straight scoreless outings, 20-plus innings by Felix. Well, that's been broken, but over that stretch, he had struck out 27 with only 3 walks. So you can see this outing here has been the exception.
1-0 pitch. On a pitch low, Mike can't get there. Mike Matheny 0 for 3 with a couple of fly balls and a double play tonight. On his double play ball, he hit the ball the other way. Jeff Kent cheating up the middle. But there's a lot of hitting room over on that right side against a very hard throwing right-handed pitcher. There's our nice pan over to that side to show you the room available.
Big difference.
Hawkhead at first.
Big difference not having JT Snow at first, too.
There's a base hit that'll tie the game. Pujols home. Bonds fumbles. Paquette stops at second, and the Redbirds are back even here in the 8th inning.
Actually, Barry Bonds made a fine play out there as that ball hit the grass and almost changed direction, and he had to reach out with his bare hand and knock it down, or that ball would have got by him, and we probably would have had a 5-4 lead. There he just opens up with a hit, turns on this pitch, gets it into left field. From this angle, you should see the play out in left field. Bonds will come over. It hits the grass and then changes direction. And see Harry knocks it down with his bare hand. And as he was doing that, he was looking to see where the base runner is. Dave McKay, then get back here. Nice going, Mike Matheny.
Gary Robinson will pinch hit here. And the good thing about this is he's tough to double up. And my mind is drifting back, which it often does, to a play that ended the top half of this inning. More on that in a minute. How big was that?
Getting a bat thrown out at the plate.
Here's Carey, and he goes fishing for a high fastball. Jim Edmonds throwing out his second runner of the night, nailing Jeff Kent at home in the 8th to keep that a simple 1-run inning.
Here changes the momentum. Sit there, look like they're going to take another run, and Matheny holds on. He dives right in there, puts his nose right down to the grindstone and holds on to the ball.
Gary Robinson just swung through a pitch 0-2. How about this kid? 7 for 18 as a pinch hitter this year in his first real opportunity at the major league level. Takes it outside. That's a .389 batting average as a pinch hitter. You're watching Cardinal baseball on KPLR TV St. Louis, WB11. And we're giving you folks around the network a good show from St. Lou tonight. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Gary Robinson. The lead runs at second. Got to have contact, and he does to keep alive. High 90s again on that fastball.
Now an Embry, second left-hander, warming up in their bullpen.
Cardinals have Vigna on deck. Then Polanco and Edmonds. Tony's got his sheet there. He's thinking ahead. It's possible for the Cardinals to take the lead here and not have Barry Bonds bat the rest of this game. He's due up 4th in the 9th. 1-2 pitch. Fighting to stay alive, and Gary Robinson does.
Pretty good there. They've well scouted Gary Robinson. If you look at the defensive placement of Barry Bonds, the left fielder. Very relatively shallow and close to the left field line. There you see where he is. They've got the center fielder played around to the left side. Straight away for the right hand. Boy, if he could plug the gap out in right center.
He could run all night.
Well, he wouldn't, because he'd be right up the heels of Paquette and Matheny, but he'd be they would be the only ones holding them back.
Yeah. One ball and 2 strikes. 2 on, 1 out. 2 runs home. Ooh, close. Just off the belt. Carey held up. So he had him leaning out over the plate, Al, and then busted him in.
And he might have caught a break here because that looked like a pretty good pitch. Santiago did try to pull it back a bit. And Carey was starting to go across the plate, and before reality set in, that's inside.
Yeah, that was a little real TV. 2-2, bouncing ball. Over to second one. Oh, they throw it into left field. Here comes the lead run. With J.T. Snow out of the game, Felipe Crespo throws the ball away, and the Cardinals take the lead.
Well, that's what I said. You know, J.T. Snow factor, a perennial Gold Glover. And not that Crespo, he fielded it cleanly, but he made a wide throw. And see with that right-handed thrower, and it's nowhere near really the shortstop. He's running one way, and then this ball is way offline. He can't get back there. Paquette, he's doing a little sightseeing. Just pick up your third base coach. Come on.
Dusty Baker to the mound. Felipe Crespo hanging his head as he walks over. He doesn't necessarily want to be a part of this right now, but he's got no choice. It'll go as a fielder's choice and an E3, no RBI, and the Cardinals lead 5-4, 3 in the 8th here, and Alan Embry will take over for the Giants. And as Al said earlier, one of the best setup men in all of baseball so far, and the Cardinals just knocked him out of the game with a little bit of help from the Giants defense. Defensive play on your left, 2 great defensive plays on your right, and Jim Edmonds saving a run earlier for the Cardinals at third base and gunning out Jeff Kent here to end the top of the 8th. That kept it a 4-2 game with some help from Matheny. Little did we know how big that would be. And now, Al, they weren't going to get a double play, but they had a chance to get the lead runner with another guy going to third.
Well, they had a chance, but then they threw the ball away. They give the Cardinals the 5-4 lead, and still threatening with runners at first and second.
And still nobody out.
You know, Crespo feels terrible about it, but it's one of those things. Now Alan Embry will come in. He has really struggled. He was a very dependable guy in the past. He has come back. This will be his 3rd appearance since coming off the disabled list with back strains. But look at that, 395 average opponents are hitting, 34 hits in 18 innings. Allowed 7 home runs. He's walked 8, struck out 24. And Dave Veers is set to pitch tonight. Just how big will the Cardinal lead be?
Here's Vina, 0 for 4 tonight. First and second, still only 1 out. And Fernando flies one out of play down the left field side. What a big lift this could be. Cardinals had gained a game on the Cubs. They would stay ahead of Milwaukee and Houston. It was looking bleak a few minutes ago, and now a lot brighter and maybe more. Tomorrow night, Matt Morris and Russ Ortiz. That's a great pitching matchup. Fernando tonight has bounced to short, flied to left, bounced to third, bounced back to the pitcher. Now he's behind in the count, 0-2. Tony figures Fernando will make contact here. Embry, 24 strikeouts, 8 walks in 18 innings. He can strike you out. 0-2. Whoa, way up there, and a great play by Santiago. That ball was labeled for the backstop.
It was a breaking ball, and look at Santiago is expecting it down and away, and so a great recovery. He's so athletic. Even though he's 36 years of age, he's still very mobile back there, and long and lanky, and he needed all that elasticity to hold that one in.
He was elastic. Here's the 0-2 or the 1-2. Fernando bounces it. Slow roller. They're going to go for the runner at second again, and that's it. A 4-6 fielder's choice. And over to third base, Mike Matheny.
I like this chance with Polanco, a contact guy. Give him a shot at Embry.
Eighth Cardinal to bat in the inning is Placido Polanco, 1 for 4 with a single. And the little guy's got a 9-game hitting streak. He's 16 for his last 36. So he's batting .444 during his batting streak. And they swing the outfield around to the right, at least with Murray and Rios. Barry Bonds is still straight away and left. Oh, for a base hit here and a 2-run lead. Cardinals will get 2 earned runs in this inning. The third run right now unearned, and any to follow. Taking advantage. I don't know what's going on here. It'll be Ramon Martinez over to the mound wanting to talk to Santiago. I don't know if there's something about the runner over at third that he wants to talk about, Mike Matheny.
Well, I'm just almost wondering too if they're trying to sit there and say, hey, you got Edmonds on deck, but I don't really think
that's not necessarily the third baseman's responsibility. Good speed on the bases at first for the Cards. Mike Matheny 90 feet away. .1-0 the count. Polanco looking to right field, fouls one over that way. As mentioned earlier, Barry Bonds is due up fourth in the 9th inning. That's why a 2-run lead would be great. But if he bats, he could still tie the game up. I mean, if he bats, that means somebody's on base. 1-1 to Polanco with the Cardinals up by a run. Placido hanging tough. This guy makes contact about 90% of the time. This year, 234 bats. He has only struck out 19 times. That is 92% of the time he makes contact.
It's just why he's hitting .329. It's why he does a lot of little things that we just always love.
That's why he gets playing time.
Yeah.
Can't afford to leave him out of there, really. And a 1-2 pitch. He'll just foul it around until he gets something he can work with. I think the ultimate praise a Cardinal player can have is to have George Kissel say great things about you. And I remember George, this is a good year and a half ago, saying this kid never swings at a bad pitch. He makes contact, and he is so smart in there. High praise from a man who's been around to see it all. Runners at the corners, and a 1-2 count again. Little chopper, pitcher will get it. Embry almost losing his balance, and the Cardinals pick up 3 in the 8th inning. One of them unearned. It's the difference. 5-4 Cardinals into the 9th. Time for Dave Ayers to take the mound for the Cardinals, looking for his 11th save of the year. And the Cards will have some defensive changes behind him after Al tells you about the closer.
Well, he's appearing for the 32nd time. He has not have a win or loss. 2.56 ERA, 10 for 10 in save opportunities. The opposition is only batting 191. 31 plus innings, 22 hits allowed. He's walked 14, struck out 34. He is not your classic closer, but most people say with the classic closer is the power guy that gets strikeouts. Dave Beers does it with a forkball.
Cardinals will put Ray Langford in left field here in the 9th inning. Craig Paquette will shift to first, replacing McGuire. So if you're keeping score, Ray Langford is now the Cardinal cleanup batter. We hope we don't have to see him, with all due respect to Ray. Cardinals don't want to bat in the bottom of the 9th. So Langford replaces Marrero, who actually ran for McGuire.
Checking out. Looking for dates already, right?
No, he's wondering if anybody's warming up in the bullpen. He's got the binky in the camera, and he's ready. And Barry Bonds set to bat fourth if it goes that far here in the 9th. Well, there's a Rob Nen stat for you. But with Rob Nen not appearing, the Cardinals could make that 35-3. And that also tells you how good Felix Rodriguez has been.
Absolutely. It's a long way to go, but I like our chances better now. And remember, Aurelia comes in this ball game. He did bat one time, grounded out to short. He's the National League's leading batter.
Rich Aurelia grounded out to short first time up. Well, we can't forget the way the Cardinals have played defense tonight. Vigna spearing a line drive in the fourth. Renteria up the middle before that to take a hit away from Kurt Reeder when they had another hit in that inning. And of course the two defensive gems by Jim Edmonds, throwing a runner out at third. That was Calvin Murray in the 5th, and a runner at home, Jeff Kent, in the 8th. Just absolutely huge defensive plays. Two balls, one strike to Aurelia. Calvin Murray, Ramon Martinez to follow. I don't even want to think about after that. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Outside, ball 3. Giants have put their leadoff man aboard 3 times tonight. Murray hit by a pitch in the 1st. J.T. Snow a hit in the 5th. Bonds a walk in the 8th. Each one of them has scored, but Aurelia is not going to make it. And a high pop fly for Craig Paquette. Has to dodge the runner and then catch the foul ball. 1 out.
Well, that's big. It's big. Fall behind 3-1. And look at, he's checking to see where that runner is. Well, the runner has to allow the fielder the opportunity to field the ball. So
Craig took a little peek at Aurelia there too.
It was high enough to where he could check it out and still get back underneath it and make the play.
Top of the order, Calvin Murray. He's been on 3 times tonight. Hit by a pitch and a couple of hits. Got to respect this guy's speed. That's why Polanco creeps in at third base. Placido has to not only creep in at third base, but he has to be a little careful to stay close to that line. You don't want to double the sneak down there. There's a strike on the outside corner.
Let's see a number that we hope changes for the better. That's right.
Yikes.
Add on to that first number.
Uh-oh, there's that double. Polanco couldn't get to it. Down into the corner. Ray Langford's got to dig it out because there's a blindingly fast runner, and Ray does. And the tying runs at second base with 1 out here in the 9th. And Barry Bonds will step to the on-deck circle as Ramon Martinez walks to the plate.
Well, that's what speed can do for you. You have to play in a spot or two, step or two closer, so the ball gets upon you so much quicker. This ball was hit very hard. Split finger, but it sort of sat right up there. Tries to backhand it, got a little bit of glove on it, just slowed it down.
Now, interesting scenario here. If the Cardinals would retire Ramon Martinez and first base is open in the top of the ninth, what do you do with Mr. Bonds?
Well, we'll find out what I pitched to him, but we'll find out what Tony does.
That ball is foul. Dave Mears keeps running that splitter right in on the right-handers, and they're turning on it.
Well, Bob, you know, so often we talk about Dave Mears and his splitter to a right-hander. Here you see how close this one was. But when you throw it to, when he has a left-handed batter out there, he can finish off that pitch. He's not real concerned about it boring inside to say a right-handed batter. But to a right-handed batter, he kind of lets it sit there because he doesn't want it to hit him.
Does Dave Mears ever throw a breaking ball anymore?
He's got a pretty good slider. You know, he's used his fastball a lot more this season. But this is a situation, too, where Dave Duncan has always tried to encourage him to use that slider for times when you do need another pitch that goes away from a right-handed batter. Just something more to make that hitter think about.
Astros beat the Reds 9-3. Cubs lost to the Brewers 4-0.
The tough thing is when you're sitting here with the game on the line, it's tough to say, you know.
Well, there's a game-tying hit. Down into the corner. Langford trying to dig it out, and the Giants tie the game in the top of the ninth with back-to-back doubles.
You know, it's one of those situations with the game on the line. It's hard to tell somebody to throw a pitch that you don't have 100% conviction behind. So this is a typical Dusty Baker Giant kind of game, too. They don't give up until the lights turn out. But there's that pitch just sitting right there.
Yeah.
And
they're going to walk Bonds.
Well, they're walking now.
Yeah, I think so, because he's not the winning run. He's another insurance run. And why pitch to him here? Now your objective is get this game somehow into the bottom of the ninth, all tied up.
And remember, we've taken Mark McGuire out of this game, too.
Edmonds, Langford, Pujols scheduled to bat for the Cardinals in the ninth. Well, I shouldn't say scheduled. They will bat now. Cardinals will pass Barry Bonds. It'll be Bonds' second walk of the night and his 71st of the year. 17th time he's been walked intentionally. Folks, and if you weren't with us early, when Al and I signed on at 7 o'clock tonight.
Well, he just flipped off his elbow pad.
First pitch was at 7:10. And at about 7:14, Barry Bonds hit a two-run homer to give the Giants the lead, his 39th. Now the double play is set up. Dave Duncan to the mound.
Yeah, Dave Mears has been so good. This is his first blown save opportunity. He didn't allow a run in 8 straight appearances, but he has allowed single runs in each of his last 3 appearances now.
Jason Christensen warming up in the Cardinal bullpen, but here's a right-hander, Jeff Kent, in there. Armando Rios, a lefty, on deck, and that's why Jason is getting ready.
I guess who's getting ready in the Giants bullpen now.
In case they take the lead. They don't have to take Alan Embry out. He retired the 2 men he faced in the bottom of the 8th. 5-5 the score. And Mears has a very difficult batter to contend with here. Jeff Kent 1 for 4 tonight. Low with a fastball.
See if he doesn't change the pitching pattern a little bit and throw that slider.
That looked like one. Just kind of sitting there. And it's high in the air for Jim Edmonds. 80 miles an hour on that breaking ball, and the Cardinals get a break for the second out, as Jeff Kent didn't do a whole lot with it. And that's all right. Now Rios, and we'll see if the Cardinals will go to the left-hander Christensen here. They've already announced the batter, but Dave Mears with that splitter can get lefties out. Duncan is coming around the rail. Still hearing from Tony. He hasn't made his move up the stairs yet, and evidently will not. They're going to move Ray Langford over toward left center.
Well,
now here
good.
comes Duncan. So Dave Veers will pitch 2/3 of an inning. He'll give up at least 1 run on 2 hits and an intentional walk. He'll get a blown save. And it'll be a lefty-lefty matchup here. The Giants do have one more right-handed bat on their bench in Russ Davis. So 2 on, 2 out, top of the ninth, 5-5. 11 brought to you tonight by Bud Light. For the great taste that won't fill you up, never let you down, make it a Bud Light. By Southwest Airlines, celebrating 30 years of freedom, 30 years, one mission, low fares. By AutoZone, the right part, the right price, and good advice. And by your local St. Louis Chrysler Jeep dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Cardinals on WB11. And that Davis I was speaking of is Eric Davis, of course, the former Cardinal. And Dusty Baker makes the move we expected. Cardinals go to the left-hander Christensen, and Davis will hit for Armando Rios.
Jason is appearing for the 16th time, 4.50 ERA, 1 save. Opponent's batting only 171 against him. He's pitched 10 innings, 6 hits, 1 home run, 6 walks, and 9 strikeouts. So Eric Davis will have a chance to do some damage. You know, Eric really wanted and was hopeful of coming back. There was some talk early last year about retiring, but he had a great season and chose to play again. He was a little bit hurt and never really got the call, but I think I was under the impression that he kind of left it up to his daughters and wife, and they said, you can play again, but you're going to have to do it on the West Coast.
He's from Woodland Hills, California, LA area. 1-0 to Eric from Christensen. And he goes for that high heater, and Jason at 89 miles an hour got it by him.
Eric goes up there a hack, and he's a low ball hitter. Look at all that movement in his delivery. And you know, Jason Christensen, for a big guy, he really looks like he throws a lot harder than he actually does. So it must be some pretty good movement.
They're going to jam him right in there with a heater, strike 2. That fastball a little harder than the first one, 91 as opposed to 89. Now he's got him 1-2.
And it seems like it's real difficult to pick up the difference between his slider and his fastball. Kind of really tucks that shoulder in and doesn't give the hitter a good look at the release point.
He struck him out. Bottom of the ninth. Giants have tied the game, but Jim Edmonds leads off. Langford and Pujols to follow. It's time to win this thing. Here in the bottom of the ninth inning, tie game. In 1-run games this year, the Cardinals are 5-10. And the Giants, who always seem to be in tight ball games, they've won 13 out of 20 1-run games this year. They're going to have to hope for extra innings as Alan Embry is still out there. He'll go lefty-lefty with Edmonds and Langford and then Pujols.
Well, you know what? When a guy goes out there and throws out 2 runners, 1 at third base and 1 at the plate, it's just sort of his night.
2 homers for Jim last night. I think he knew them both.
Yeah, he knew them both, and let's see if he can get his first hit of the night and send us all home. But you know how sometimes you'll have a game that's sort of magical. He's done the job defensively with that great throwing arm, showing people why he won 3 Gold Gloves, including 1 last year, his first year in the National League. Now it's time to show everybody and remind everybody about those 42 home runs he hit a year ago.
And Jim Edmonds is a guy who will tell you he'll get as much kick out of throwing those 2 guys out as hitting those 2 bombs last night, as long as this isn't a winning effort.
Yes, and he's probably got a little history with Alan Embry, who pitched with Cleveland, Atlanta also, but Cleveland in the American League.
Embry with a little short arm. He kind of hides the ball for a while. And he missed it. 1 ball, no strikes. Jim Edmonds 0 for 4 tonight.
All the more reason to sit there and say, I'm tired, let's go home.
Two and 0. Cardinals have been given 5 walks tonight. They cashed 1 of those into a run. That was Pujols last inning. This will be a good pitch to see where this at bat might go. Outside, ball 3. Another left-hander in Langford on deck. 5-5 game, bottom of the 9th inning. Cubs lost today. Astros won, Brewers won. A good night to win, and taking all the way, Edmonds looks at a 3-0 fastball down the middle.
Hope he's still smiling after this next pitch or 2.
He took a home run cut at a high pitch. Alan Embry, 96 on the stadium gun. Wow. Now the count's full, 3-2.
Got a good arm. All you have to do is settle it and center it. And that speed and velocity will supply part of the distance. Talking about a guy that's got a 12-point.
It's a leadoff walk, and the winning run's going down to first base.
How would you like to see Ray Langford do it?
How about Langford get that runner over to third? Pujols step in there and end this thing.
He'd be facing then, so I mean, if you have to pick another guy that you want to be a hero, a guy that needs a little shot in the arm, it's Ray Langford. Dusty Baker's got the utmost respect for Ray, and Tony La Russa and his entire playing roster. He's third on the Cardinals all-time home run list. He's the Busch Stadium home run leader.
Shows bunt and takes ball 1. Maybe a little call from the bench there to get the infield moving around.
Maybe a little deep. You know, maybe a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Sometimes you'll tell someone when they're going up there to bat, if he does walk this man, hey, the first pitch, do this, take it, or, you know, I don't want you swinging, but go ahead and do whatever you want.
Ray Langford does have 1 sacrifice this year. And Edmonds back easily.
If I remember, that sacrifice led to a Cardinal victory.
And he shows bunt, takes a strike. Embry had Jim Edmonds moving backward toward the bag on his move that time. Jose Oquendo becomes a key man for the Cardinals here. He's bouncing Tony signals all over the infield. Straight across to Edmonds. Langford looked at him. Jose is set up about 2/3 of the way from home plate to third, way out of his coacher's box. 1-1 pitch coming. Ray bunts in the air. A rather half-hearted looking attempt, and it's 1-2.
Never really got the bat or his fundamentals in position. They're bringing the bat back, changing the angle, just creating the pop-up.
Giants looking for a ground ball. Crespo holding Edmonds. Even with the bag at third is Martinez. Another throw, the second one over there.
Well, that is to see if Langford is going to give away. Is he still bunting? Or is he switched off? One of the things that I find very interesting that Tony does is he flashes sign to Oquendo. Sometimes he may even put the bunt on or a steal on or something like that, and then he'll take it off with the first base coach.
Wow, Jim Edmonds had an unbelievable jump, but on 2 strikes, Ray's got to swing if it's close enough. I mean, Edmonds, he was at least halfway to second base by the time that ball was heading home.
He has got this terrific jump, and you know, see, Jimmy's thinking that, but he's forgetting what you said.
2 strikes.
If it's a strike, it's kind of hard to say, well, I'm going to take strike 3.
One and 2, short lead by Edmonds. Way upstairs, ball 2.
But that little, taking off like that kind of unnerves the pitcher a little bit, and he's going to spend more time concentrating on the runner at first and less time to the hitter.
Two-two pitch. Runner going. Swing and a miss. Edmonds down to second with 1 out as Ray Langford fans. Will we see Rob Nen here? Alan Embry just looked over to the dugout, half expecting the hook.
You see the great jump, and you see if he could have pulled that ball into the corner, Jimmy would have come all the way around. But he steals his 3rd base of the year.
We're going to walk Pujols.
Take that.
And then maybe Rob Nen comes in against Paquette. Al, this is that old school of thought that some managers will bring a guy in, have him walk the first guy intentionally, and you say, well, why have him throw 4 balls? So if Nen comes in here, it'll be with one thing in mind, that's going after the next batter and not walking this man with 4.
Yeah, it's a philosophical question. As a reliever, I think it's terrible to bring in a guy and ask him to do something negative.
Right.
Your whole mental approach to warming up is you're trying to eliminate base runners, to get people out, and then to come in and say throw 4 wild pitches. Some managers say, well, I'm giving you a chance to get used to the mound. Well, you have a different windup when you're intentionally passing somebody. Now Dusty's going to make a double switch. Both managers are kind of running out of position players. Marvin Bernard is going to go out, and it looks like he's heading towards right field. There's Rob Nen. Now we've got Felix Rodriguez. Let's see if we can get to Rob Nen.
So Craig Paquette with 2 on, 1 out. Craig's had a great night, hasn't he? 3 hits. Does he have another one in there? It'll be a game winner. Cardinal baseball on WB11, KPLR TV St. Louis, bottom of the 9th. This game's been going on for 3 hours and 32 minutes. And maybe only a few more. But it'll have to be one of the best closers in baseball if the Cardinals can beat him. Rob Nen against Craig Paquette.
I see the numbers, 21. That leads the National League. He's 10 for 12 in save opportunities this June. He has lost a pair of games, so it is possible. 41 strikeouts and 34 in the 3rd inning. One of the hardest throwers. It's up there. On Wednesday night, he had got his 247th career save. That's good enough for sole possession, 19th place in the all-time Major League save list. His own pitching coach, Dave Righetti, is 18th, having notched 252 saves. Second on the all-time Giants list.
Our next local telecast will be Tuesday on Fox Sports Net, 6:30 pregame, 7 o'clock for the Reds and the Cardinals. Andy Bennis and Chris Rietzma. Wednesday night, Dustin Hermanson and Lance Davis. Here we go. Paquette and Rob Nen. The game's on the line here in the bottom of the 9th. 1st and 2nd, 1 out. Way upstairs, ball 1. 95 miles an hour. Craig Paquette Got the Cardinals their first run in the 3-run 8th inning. Matheny got an RBI, then an error, gave the Cards the lead. They've lost the lead now. And Paquette helps out Nen by swinging on a pitch away. But with Rob Nen, you don't have a whole lot of time to make up your mind.
And it still is mid-90 pitch right there. Renteria is on deck. There's Rob Nen and Renteria were members of that 97 World Championship Florida Marlin team. Greg Paquette has already added to his very lofty 385 batting average with runners in scoring position.
Line drive, hooking, foul by a couple of feet.
An off-speed pitch. Third base umpire with the call in perfect position.
And a loud strike 2. Rob Nen in that World Series in '97 pitched in 4 games and had an ERA of 7.71. Had a couple of saves though. So he gave up a few, but he nailed down a couple. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Paquette. Got him on a fastball away. Nothing but heat. And now the Cardinals' final hope to win it in regulation is Edgar Renteria, the former teammate of Rob Nen.
See, breaking balls or that pitch out there is going to doom Paquette. He did throw him one breaking pitch, and that was the one he fouled down the left field line.
Right. 2 balls away that he swung and missed were both heaters.
And there's a little in Rob Nen's delivery. It's really tough for batters to pick up because there's that little hesitation. Almost he starts to come through and he taps his foot, and it kind of a stutter step, and it gets you, kind of blinking.
Throws a breaking ball that Edgar Renteria fouls off Santiago. And Benito hurting.
See where this ball gets him, and
maybe on that left wrist where he had the glove.
Yeah, maybe. It looks like it was the wrist. He's feeling it right now. The only position player they have is that backup catcher. The bat hitting, the backswing, it looks like.
Only one other National League game still going on. Padres at Dodgers, 3-2 San Diego after 5.
Let's take a look at it. Now watch the backswing. Comes around and bam, right on top of the wrist. Almost where the wrist and the hand meet.
Yeah, foul ball glanced off his glove harmlessly. Bat got him on the wrist.
Just one of those innocent things, and catchers learn real quick who has long back swings and who doesn't.
And Edgar says the least I can do is hold the man's mask until he's ready to go back to work.
And of course, during this whole time, you've got your pitcher just kind of standing around. Benny says he's okay. He's going to try and give it a go.
Rob Nen did play a little catch with Ramon Martinez, the third baseman.
Kind of gutsy, but you send him. Of course, it is his glove hand.
Yeah, runner at first, maybe. Runner at first, maybe.
Oh, really? There's a runner at second.
Well, I mean, if you only had a runner at first. It's a little tough to get him over to third here. Edmonds camped out there. That's the winning run. It'll take a 2-out 9th inning hit to get him home and win this thing. The 0-1 to Renteria. Good identification of the breaking ball. He laid off. But I mean, that's how hard Rob Nen throws. His breaking ball is almost 90 miles an hour. Our guys had it at 92. Wow. 1 ball, 1 strike. been working the right-handers away.
He is so good at hitting the spot down and away. You know, he can strike you out, but the thing is this stage in the game, you want to be very careful going inside when you have to throw a strike.
2-1. Outside ball 3. Mike Matheny on deck. Cardinals have one more left-handed bat on the bench, but they can't take Mike Matheny out. Eli Marrero's already been used. Stubby Clapp, the only unused Cardinal position guy. 3-1 to Renteria. A pitch of decision right here. And he threw him a strike.
You know, I think there was a time where you could almost sit there and say, I'm going to get a strike with a fastball. What is the easiest pitch to locate? Fastball. You don't want to run it to a running count. And you got it now. I mean, it was 3-1, but you sit there right now. Now you can understand him throwing the slider.
3-2, and the runners will be going. It'll be almost impossible for the Giants to throw out a base runner at home on a hit to the outfield. 3-2, 2-1, 2 out. There they go. And Renteria will send us all back to where we started.
Lifts that leg up and swings hard at the fastball. Pop it up. And just where you don't see the discipline of guys, you know, sitting there saying, I'm going to make sure I put the ball in play, choke up a little bit, ready to punch it over the infield. He'll take that big vicious swing. The longer the swing, the more tendencies to have errors in it.
3-2 pitch. Long one, left field, down toward the corner. It is hooking, and it is foul.
Left the bat, it looked like it was home run distance for sure, but Barry Bonds was over there, and without the new configuration or the stand that jetted out, we would be.
Yeah, in the old days, that's caught.
That's caught easy.
How did Edgar turn on Rob Nen that quickly? Into the corner.
I think a fan reached over. Yeah, reached over and did the Cardinals a favor.
Three-two again. Evans back at second. Runners will be going. Ball 4, bases loaded. The Giants have been walking the Cardinals all night long. That's the 8th Cardinal walked in this game, and now it's up to Mike Matheny to win it.
Dusty, I first want to tell you that, you know, walks, nothing good could come of a walk, and right now, it doesn't necessarily have to be a base hit to win it. Wild pitch, pass ball, an error.
And there's nothing that says a .215 hitter can't win a ball game for you.
Absolutely.
What a spot for Mike, who already has 1 RBI tonight.
An RBI in this game. Well, this is when you're sitting there and just say, I'm going to have some fun.
Mike broke an 0 for 11 with that hit last inning. He could win it for the Cardinals here. Trying to level up on that pitch up and back to the screen it went.
His first home run of the year came off of Randy Johnson in Arizona. And right now, just make sure you put the ball in play and swing at strikes.
The 0-1 pitch. Out of play over the Cardinal dugout.
Nen's father was a pitcher in the big leagues.
Dick Nen.
Dick Nen, yeah. 0-2, sometimes you're going to say, oh, I'm going to make a perfect pitch, I'm going to punch him out. hang on to it, let it fly, and back to the screen.
0-2. Ground ball deep short. There's a chance. Cardinals win. Matheny delivers. Mike Matheny with a 2 RBI night. 1 in the 8th, 1 in the 9th. They're hitting him so hard he's going to have a bobblehead.
Well, he will tomorrow night, but you know what? This is maybe we're going to look back. The only hit in the inning is right here. It gets underneath the glove of Aurelia, and the Cardinals steal one in the bottom of the 9th from 6-5.
Jim Edmonds fittingly scores the winning run, Al, after he prevented the Giants from scoring a couple of runs with his great defense tonight.
Mike Matheny, who's really got to be pleased and happy, but if you look at this game, and maybe we come back in a couple weeks after a long winning streak and you say, this is the one that got you started, and we also pick up a game on the Cubs.
Cardinals are now 5 games out of first. We'll be back with more from Busch. 6-5 Cardinals. Well, we had an interesting night here in St. Louis. It's not always home runs that decide ball games. A lot of little things tonight. Some great Cardinal defense, some timely hitting, including a Darryl Kyle home run. Barry went deep too, number 39, and the Cardinals win it 6-5 over the Giants tonight. For Al Raboski, Rich Gould, and our entire Bud Sports crew, Bob Carpenter. Hope you enjoyed it, folks. This one was a lot of fun. The boys will see you Tuesday night when the Reds are here. See you later from Busch Stadium.
He was cheating. He was a ringer. He reportedly is 14 years old. No